Hey folks, I'm Craig Lipinski.
I'm Sleepy Seth Castellum.
And I'm excited, Megan Lipinski.
And you're listening to episode 28 of Ludowave Radio, the smooth sounds of video game talk. And this is our last episode of 2018. It's our last episode forever, but also of 2018. It's both.
Bye, folks. It was great having you on this journey.
I wonder if Apple will let us publish a podcast that is 30 seconds long.
This is it. It's just we're just going to introduce ourselves.
I imagine they would.
Yeah, that's
They
fine.
probably don't have a minimum requirement.
We'll just throw in an ad for like Casper mattresses in the middle or something. It'll be fine. I thought it would be interesting / terrible to talk about a little bit here in the beginning about how our own years went, 2018, and everyone agreed to that, even though we probably all think it's a stupid idea. But
did we? I didn't know we were doing it at the beginning. I just agreed to it. I didn't really know what I was agreeing to, I guess.
Okay.
Does this mean you don't have notes, Seth?
What the fuck's a note?
I just think, it's weird because as like a teenager, I thought it was silly to like, use the year end / the beginning of the next year to think, to reflect on yourself or, do resolutions or things like that. I don't know if I was being an iconoclast or being an asshole or, that's how I really felt. But, I just thought like, well, if you're going to do something, you don't need to wait till January 1st to do it. Or if you want to like reflect on yourself, you don't need to wait until December 31st to do it. And that's probably true. But I also think that like if you're, if you want like a milestone, the calendar years is good as any.
It's an easy
measuring stick. As I've gotten older, I'm like, yeah, that's fine. Right. Other people are doing it. As I've gotten older, I'm like, yeah, that's fine. I guess I'm just not the hard ass I once was.
Iconoclasshole.
I am the iconoclasshole.
Well, not anymore.
Not anymore.
I'm worried about my microphone volume. Like,
Why?
You can hear me. Because usually, like, I feel like I appear much larger on the little squiggly lines on Audacity while we're recording.
Well,
we can hear you fine.
Well, maybe you should lean in like this.
Oh, I mean, let me test. Okay, well, whatever. I mean, it's picking up something. You could boost my audio if you need to once I send you the recording, right?
Yeah, post production. That's a thing I do.
Okay, good to know.
Make a note of where to edit.
No, we're not editing that out.
Oh, no?
No,
Okay.
fuck that.
No,
Who cares?
we don't edit out anything. Jesus Christ.
I think a couple times we have. No, this is real. This is raw, Megan.
Oh, okay. I'm
this
sorry.
This is real life. This podcast. You don't edit this.
You get to know our worries and our fears and about Craig's 2018. You're not going to hear anything about mine.
Oh, I want to know everything about Seth's 2018.
You went to some concerts. That's exciting. You saw your girlfriend.
Seth's year in review. Went to concerts.
Hey, man, wait until mine. I wrote notes.
She wrote notes about it because you had to remind yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hey, whatever works.
That's what works.
Yeah, my 2018. I'm trying to, with my new wife here next to me, I'm trying really hard to not to say my 2018 sucked.
I feel like you can say like a ratio to suck to good, though.
Yeah, I think it's a significant ratio, the suckage. Yeah, I think it's best to say, like, the polite way to say it was a challenging year.
Okay.
Because even with a wedding, I'm going to be gross for like a hot second. Marrying you was like the best decision I've ever made. That's it. That's all I'm going to say about it. It was great. We did a good job. High five. All right. But, even just the planning of a wedding, executing that's a challenge, right? I mean, it's stressful.
I feel like ours was pretty easy and low key.
Yeah. Okay, sure. but I also had like the biggest like medical issue I've ever had in my life. Unless you count, 20 years of mental illness, but other than that, and getting laid off, both of those things, it's like the year that you get married, like you like want to like look back on it and be like, oh yeah, that was great, but like I'm just like my body doesn't work, and how do you do money?
Like maybe in the future, though, you'll just only remember the marriage and you'll forget about those other things.
Right.
You'd be like, what year did I break my entire neck, shoulders, and back again? Who knows? But I got married in 2018.
That's true. Nice. That's true. So here's hoping it's that. Although, like, some of my, like, symptoms are, like, starting to, like, creep back. There's, like, some regressive stuff happening, which is... Like, we actually went to urgent care today.
But at least now he has health insurance.
Well, good health insurance, yeah. It costs... Actually...
It's worth marrying me.
Right. The visit and the drugs cost us a whopping $1.31.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, that's Megan working at a hospital. That's sweet hospital insurance.
Like, how are you guys on, like, polyamorous polygamy marriages?
Well, see, Seth, if we could marry, if you and Craig could legally get married and also Craig still be married to me, then, I would marry everybody for the health insurance. But unfortunately, I don't think that's allowed.
Did you want to see my penis, Seth? We don't have to get married for that.
Like, no, well, yes, but I just want the...
Mostly the health insurance.
Yes, mostly for the health insurance. That's just a perk on top of it.
I see. All right.
Well,
it was, because that same visit would have cost me like $200 out of pocket between the visit and the medication. Yeah, it would have cost me about $200.
My insurance.
Yeah.
And the only reason, like, the urgent care was free is because we had a waiver because the urgent care is affiliated with the healthcare system that I work for. So, like, if we showed up without the piece of paper that was like, this visit's free, it would have been $40. But even that isn't nearly as bad as it could have been.
Yeah.
And it's mind-boggling to me that my health insurance is reasonably priced and, seems to be pretty good for treatment and prescriptions. And there are people who spend $600 and can't even be seen without spending an additional couple $100. Mm-hmm. Like, it's mind-boggling. It shouldn't be that expensive.
I got one of those, like, $3,000 deductibles for the year, so I think I got to pay everything out of pocket up until it hits, like, $3,000. So it's basically only for emergency situations.
Well, so
like large-scale stuff.
Mine has a deductible, too. So, like, my deductible is, like, $2,500 or something like that. So yeah, no, we still have a deductible, but if he'd gone to the ER, that money we spent would go towards the deductible, but urgent care might not have, or
urgent care does, yeah.
So we're sort of in the same boat. It just seems like our insurance might cover more.
It covers more, yeah.
Like percentage wise, and then once you hit the deductible, it's 100%. Insurance is weird, man.
Which is bonkers, because even in a lot of cases, when you spend that $3,000 out of pocket, the insurance still doesn't cover 100%. Like on my old insurance, I think my deductible was, I can't remember if it was $2,500 or $3,000. It was a lot. But then even then, because I met that deductible, this neck and back thing cost like $5,000, and I met that. And then even then, I think it was like my physical therapy went from being like $90 a visit to $45 a visit. Covered
because they only covered
50%,
yeah.
And that's even after being the deductible.
That's some punk ass. I know look at mine more. I got mine through work, so I don't even know.
Yeah, well, most insurance sucks, and like even though we that's good that we have that piece now, or at least I do. We both have this piece of like good health insurance, but that doesn't solve all the problems. Like I went to urgent care because like I made an appointment with my doctor, like not a first visit or anything, like my doctor, she can't see me until February 15th. Like, right. It's still fucked up. Like, I love when people are like, you want to have Canadian healthcare? They gotta wait. Bitch, I gotta wait. What are you talking about?
Yeah. I made an appointment with my doctor back in September, and I got to see her December 17th. And then even after they pushed my appointment back, further in the day, I sat in the waiting room, well, in the like treatment room, because it's a lady doctor, in like no clothing for 45 minutes, waiting for this woman to arrive so she could give me like a 5-minute exam and I could leave. So you're gonna wait no matter what.
Yeah, how long were we at urgent care today before I got like an hour and a half before I got seen?
At least.
And then the doctor was nice, but I mean, his job is to like get you in and out. Yeah, he was like, "Yep, that sounds like it sucks. Here's some pills." So, he was very nice about it, but I saw him for all of 5 minutes after an hour and a half. Anyway, so like the big takeaway from this year is that getting married rules.
Cool.
And the American healthcare system is fucking terrible.
Yeah.
And it's worse, a lot worse for other people.
Oh yeah,
it sucks
yeah.
no matter what.
Like it's weird to think that we're fair enough. Why no wedding bells in your future, Seth?
No,
Not in 2018.
Not in 2018. That's true. And then losing my job kind of sucked. I mean, I wasn't going to be there forever. I kind of. One thing that like my depression does to me is like it makes it very difficult to think about future stuff. It makes it very difficult to plan, which is why, I've never been like truly terrible with money, but I've never been great because like, how do you save money when you can't envision a future? You know what I mean?
When I first started dating my girlfriend, she kept asking me like, "What are your plans for the future? What do you want to do with the future?" And I literally like was like, "What the fuck? I don't know."
It's a black hole.
Thought about it. Yeah,
Right.
It's like literally never even like come up in my conscious to even entertain. So it was very weird trying to get used to even that kind of thinking.
Right, exactly. And this year, I did a little bit of that. Like I've been a little bit better about it. Typically, the way I envision the future is at best just a perpetual version of the present. So like 5 years from now will just be today. Like that's the best I can do. But with my job, I knew that like, okay, I'm not going to be here I'm not going to have usefulness here forever. And so I already thought about like, I was probably going to end up leaving like summer of 2019, fall of 2019. Like that was the plan. You and I had talked about that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, but I mean, overall it was all right there. Like I did a good job. People liked me. My boss, that was the best manager I've ever had. I liked it there for the most part. But just the owner of the company, he was like, "Nah, I don't want him here anymore." Like that sucks. Like that stings to like be good at your job, to get good reviews, to be making decent money, to have a good manager who likes you, to have coworkers like you. And this guy who's just never fucking there rolls in his fucking Bentley and goes, "Nah. Nah. That sucks." But on the plus side, being laid off helped me sort of like rediscover doing art. I filled that space with that, and I think I've gotten not bad at it.
You've definitely improved.
There's definitely improvement, yeah. So I've done all right. So I mean, if nothing else, there's that positive that came out of it that I've been able to do more art, and some of it is worthwhile, I suppose. So
I would say all of it's worthwhile.
I know you say that.
I'll say some of it.
Right. Seth, I mean, she's legally obligated to say all
I'm
of it.
not legally obligated.
It's.
No, I legally own half the art you produce. I'm not legally obligated to say that it's good.
Well, you have an art thread on the boards, and I go through it, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, I like this and this and that and that." I'm like, I don't care for that one though. But I like enough of it.
I think that's a fair way to put it. Like, and not everything can be a banger, right? Like you just, and that's the weird thing about being an artist of any kind, I think, whether that's drawing or painting or music or whatever it is you do, it's like, how to do it. That when you put like that pen to the paper, like you can draw a thing, just sometimes it just doesn't, the talent, the paper, the pen, it just doesn't cooperate. It doesn't do what you want it to do.
There was one time, this was a while ago, probably like back in high school or just out of high school, and I had drawn a picture of Link, and it was like such a good picture of Link. I was like, man, I drew a fucking killer picture of Link, and I went to sleep. And then the next day when I woke up, I looked at it, and it looked so bad, and like Link's head was tiny and weird and just proportionate to the rest of his body, and I was like, oh my god, what did I do here? And that was a quick turnaround. I was like, I thought it was good, but with a day pass, I was like, nah, that's bad.
Usually I'm the other way around. I produce it and I finish it and I look back at it, I'm like, what the fuck is this trash? And I'll put it on the dining room table and I'll pass by and I'm like, I guess it's not that bad, until finally I'm like, yeah, all right. This is fine.
You're like kitschy, quaint stuff is like really good. Like I don't know, like outdoor pharmacy stuff, and like the cats in the cat towers and stuff like that. All that sort of stuff that I guess quaint is the best word to put it. Is really good. That's my favorite stuff that you do.
Thanks. Yeah, I want to do. I mean, yeah, I know where my strengths lie, but I kind of want to like be a little more well-rounded, I guess, and experiment with other things. Like I did like one acrylic painting. I did this little drummer boy one because I just had the little drummer boy in my head and I really wanted to do something with that. And I did an acrylic piece and I finished. It was actually the exact opposite. Normally it was like your Link thing where like I did it and I'm like, oh, this is not half bad. And then the colors settle and they dry and I'm like, wow, this is fucking, what did I do? How, this does not honor our Lord and Savior. What did I do? So I'm a little disappointed in it.
Actually, your trees in the snowstorm too was really, really good.
Well, you know what's funny about that piece is that trees in the snowstorm, that is actually a very normal painting under the snowstorm. I did the snow and like it looked like a regular landscape. And then I'm like, oh, I just want to do like a light snowy sheen over it. And I fucked it up and went too heavy handed. I'm like, that's it. It's a blizzard. It's fine. That's it. It's just a blizzard now. So
no, it's good. It's very evocative. It's it makes you like stare at it. And
I tell Craig this stuff and he's just like, yeah, whatever, Megan.
No, that one's really good. Like I was like feeling stuff from that one. So
see?
Oh, thank you. Well, that's the thing. I made that one after like the little drummer boy. I'm like, fuck it. I did like what, like 3 or 4 acrylic pieces after the little drummer boy one.
Yep.
Because I'm like, this sucks. I'm gonna prove that I can actually do it. I can prove that I don't suck. So and
you did.
I did 2 pieces at one time. I had one on my desk, and then I had my easel next to me, and I was just spinning back and forth between the two of them while layers dried. I'm like, fuck it. I'm gonna do a good one. God damn it.
That's great.
Oh man. Anyway, that was my year. Like just neck injuries, getting laid off, rediscovering art. Getting better at art. Yeah. Getting married and
buried or married?
Married.
Oh, okay. I heard buried. And I was like, oh, okay.
Maybe I did slip my tongue. I don't know, but yeah, no, married. I kind of wish that like my neck and my back were like fully healed. I'm really worried about slipping back. I don't know why. I improved all my, like, oh, you got to sit up straight. You got to get up and stand. I did all this shit. I bought an Apple Watch. It tells me to stand up. Like I do it. I follow it like a fucking Pavlovian dog. I did all the things, but like now I'm starting, like my body's like, dude, you feeling shitty? And it's like, oh, what do I got to do to like not feel shitty? I don't know. But even
not
when
age?
I don't, well, God, Jesus, but not everyone, but like, I look around and I'm like, that person has bad posture. That person is like angling their neck like a giraffe to look at their phone. Like, why is it everyone else can do all this shit and they're fine, but apparently like this stuff is the cause of my problems? Like, I don't buy that. I feel like there's gotta be more to it than that, but, I don't know. I wish that was better. Like, that's the only thing. I could live with the job loss because I have a job now. I got the art. I got married. Everything else, I feel like it's worked out. But like this stuff, it sucks to have chronic pain. It's been almost a year. Like it was mid-January when this started, and I just wish it would go away.
Yeah, that sucks.
It does suck.
It's a goal for 2019.
But I don't even know how to achieve that goal. I don't know what I need to do to be fully better.
Well,
just don't get addicted to opioids.
I don't really get pain. They don't give me pain medication. I got some muscle relaxers that'll put me to sleep today, but like that's the most. I get some steroids, but those just made me cry.
Why did they make you cry?
Oh, steroids will fuck with your emotions.
I know they throw your hormones out of whack. So
yeah, that's what happened. Yeah, that's basically what happened. It threw my hormones crazy. but I've not really gotten any painkillers. Like, take some ibuprofen. I'm like, take some ibuprofen. That is one step above rubbing some dirt on it and walking it off. Like, that's not
Except
a thing.
for the ibuprofen will remove the inflammation a little bit. And that'll help.
No, the amount of ibuprofen I have to take to remove the inflammation will tear a hole in my stomach.
Not if you eat first.
Not if I eat first. All right. Well, anyway, that's 20 minutes. I've talked about my year for 20 minutes. We had some laughs. We cried a little bit. Seth, how was your year?
Pass, Megan.
No, come on, Seth.
I don't know how to think.
Fine.
Okay.
Okay.
This wasn't a mystery, Seth. Like, we talked about
It's all right.
this.
Don't.
That's fine.
Don't worry. You don't have to listen to me, and then you just think about your year, and then I'll just try and talk and fill space. Okay, ready? Let's go.
How about you don't fill space? How about you just actually do the assignment?
No, I am.
Gave to us.
I did, because I wrote notes down. So, as Craig hit upon, we got married. That was fun and exciting. And
she keeps looking at me approvingly. It was fun and exciting.
It was fun and exciting.
You agree?
Yes, right, Craig?
It was fine.
It was fun, and
I said fine, not fun.
I know, and I'm clarifying that for me it was fun.
Okay.
I enjoyed it. The wedding prep process and all of the planning was relatively easy, and I think the worst part was trying to get people to RSVP, which I know that Craig has talked about before, so we don't need to rehash that. But the wedding itself was a lot of fun. It was great to see all of our friends and our family people.
Half of my family.
Well, and like the people that I bothered to invite. So, but the select people that actually were there.
Chosen few.
So that was lovely. I, 2 days ago, applied for a college to get into classes so that I can get a certification for health information management. And it is essentially an associate's degree's worth of credits in classes so that I can then take a test to have initials at the end of my name, signifying that I am a health information management expert or some shit.
You're actually going to have initials after your name?
Yeah, I'll be RHIA.
Oh, that's so hot.
Yeah, I'll be Megan Lipinski, RHIA.
Oh, God. It's doing it for me.
Okay, cool. 2-3 years from now, you'll get to just have that boner.
You're going to be so boring until then.
What's a Megan Lipinski Rhea?
I know, right? Weird. It's like I have 2 last names. But so that's interesting. We're trying to figure out how all that's going to work because I don't want to spend 5 years doing like a class a semester because most of the classes are 8 weeks. So I also sort of procrastinated, and this is kind of down to the wire because in order to be reimbursed by my employer, I need to have approval from my supervisor and also their boss, and they're both on vacation right now. So, yeah, I gotta sort some shit out on Monday, I guess, when they're back. Or Wednesday, whatever. I'm figuring it out. I usually wait until the last minute and things turn out, for the most part, okay. So I'm gonna just hope for the best here. Other than that, Craig had mentioned we'd started D&D this year, and that's something that I really enjoy. We have some good friends that we play with, and one of my best friends, plays with us, and it's very enjoyable, and it's something Craig and I get to do together. So I'm a fan. Plus, I listen to a lot of D&D podcasts, so to actually play D&D is fun instead of just listening to other people do it. Let's see. This year, I planned on reading more books than I had the year before because I read a lot of fan fiction, but not a lot of books. So this year I read more books than last year. It wasn't that many, but it was still more than last year. And I made a note about my 2 favorites from this year. And the first one was a book of essays written by Samantha Irby. And it's called We're Never Meeting in Real Life. And it's just funny, sometimes sad, personal essays, and it's great. It's lovely. I really enjoyed it. I definitely cried at least once. Huh?
I have a question.
Sure.
What kind of fan fiction do you read?
Well,
Here we go.
So I started listening to Critical Role, which is a D&D podcast, like a year ago when their new campaign started. And so I read a lot of fan fiction based on the characters from Critical Role.
Okay.
And
so podcast D&D fan fiction.
Yes.
Okay.
And I used to watch Teen Wolf from the MTV series. Yeah,
Right.
Craig's laughing right now. So I read a lot of Teen Wolf. Not so much anymore, but definitely in the beginning of the year because I was trying to catch up on like the shit that had happened because we didn't have cable and you had to watch on the MTV app and it was like ugh. And I watched Hannibal for the whole 3 seasons it was on television before it was canceled. And so I read a lot of Hannibal fan fiction that's mostly like wish fulfillment for what could have been and just like a lot of just love stuff. But yeah, so that's...
Do you mean sex?
Yes. So that kind of... Basically everybody's gay and that's the kind. Like sometimes there's Harry Potter, but for the most part, it's this.
Is everybody gay in Harry Potter?
Yes.
Oh God.
Well, no, that's not true. Like my OTP is a straight couple, but for the most part, I prefer the gays.
Fantastic.
Yes, it is fantastic. But in that vein, I started reading romance novels instead of fan fiction as a way to sort of be in familiar territory without being fan fiction. So the first romance novel that I read this year was called Wicked and the Wallflower, and it had a really strong, funny female lead, and that was refreshing from most romance novels. And so, yeah, that was really fun, and I'm looking forward to the second book in the series coming out in June of 2019. My life's very exciting, obviously. I'm excited about podcasts about D&D and fan fiction.
That's awesome. No.
Thank
you for being very open about that.
Oh, yeah, no problem. I could talk about it for a while. We don't have to. I'm really sweaty now because I'm nervous.
Megan is unabashedly herself.
Yeah, no, that's great.
I consumed a lot of content this year because most of my notes are like, Craig and I watched Sharp Objects together, and that show was good as hell. So
so me and my girlfriend watched Sharp Objects together.
Yeah.
And that show was like both riveting and annoying as fuck at the same time. Like I hated like most of the characters, like the way they acted. Not their acting, but their personalities. But
right.
They're just like annoying. But then like at the same time I was like, oh, I gotta keep watching. I need to know who did this and who the killer was and stuff like that. And fucking the way Camille acts with Adora, I was like, oh my God, just tell your mom to shut the fuck up already, please. Please, Camille.
Yes. But yeah, no, I did a lot of like groaning and talking at the television.
I just want to say this is a side of Seth I don't think I've ever heard before.
Well, maybe because you don't ask Craig.
This is information you're free to volunteer at any point.
Yeah, no, well,
some of us would prefer to be asked.
Seth, will you go to the prom with me?
No, I have a date already. Sorry, Craig.
Oh, your Canadian girlfriend.
Yeah, she's coming down for the prom. You'll see.
That's exciting.
She's real.
Seth, have you read the novels then?
No, my girlfriend had, so she was very excited for the series.
I'd read them years ago, and so when the show was coming out, I was like, "Oh my gosh, so excited!" And then I reread the books, and that was pretty good too. You should read the books.
They seem more like a chick thing.
No, no, they're not.
Just because I've seen literally like 5 people's girlfriends who were excited about the show because they read the books, and not a single dude who's ever even heard of it.
Well, okay. See, Craig and I watched Gone Girl, and then I read Gone Girl, and then I read the other 2 novels by Gillian Flynn, and I was like, oh my God, these are so good. And I guess if I had actually bought the books, Craig could have read them, but I borrowed them from the library on my Kindle.
I wouldn't have read them because they're for chicks.
I don't think they are, though. Just because they're told from a woman's perspective doesn't make them chick books.
No, you get really defensive over each other.
I can't tell if you're joking or not.
I read that. What was my favorite book from last year? Was that We Are Okay? Was that?
Yeah,
that was
true.
That was a chick book.
That was a YA chick book.
That was a YA chick, but it was good as hell.
It was good as hell. I bought it based solely on the cover art. And
which is traditionally a bad move. Let's be honest.
I have nothing against. I have nothing against chick books. Mind you.
Good.
I just don't know if I would enjoy.
As long as they're naked in it, am I right, Seth?
No, I don't know if I could deal with any more Adora. I don't know if I need to read about her too.
Yeah, she's just as bad in the book.
Yeah, she's terrible. I loved to hate her.
The actress who played her, whose name I don't remember, she did a wonderful job.
She's in that Lonely Island music video with the Mother Lover video.
Oh, I've never seen that one. I guess I'll have to go on the YouTube after this.
It's the SNL thing, and it's Justin Timberlake and whoever else.
Okay.
Dick in a Box video, and it's a sequel to the Dick in a Box video.
Oh, and it's like Andy Samberg and like that other guy whose name I never learned.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm on a boat with like
I think that sums up.
So I guess like that's all of my 2018 is like I read a lot of crap. I watched a lot of crap. I listened to a lot of D&D podcasts and new music. That was exciting.
All right.
So yeah, come on, Seth. What happened to you in 2018?
Absolutely nothing.
Cool. I don't believe that at all.
Like, no, nothing really. And around this time of the year, I start slipping into depressive episodes really easily. So I'm not like like nothing fun to talk about.
Is this like triggering for you?
No, not particularly. I'm good at faking being normal enough while we podcast. Jesus Christ, I'm good at that.
Yeah, I know. Once we turn off the record button, you turn into Eeyore.
What?
I don't think you're Eeyore, Seth.
I don't know about Eeyore. Like,
It was a joke.
Seth and Megan can't tell what are jokes today.
Maybe I'm bad at telling jokes. Maybe
it might be a combination.
I'm not a very good comedian, I guess.
But it might also be like we're sensitive.
Okay.
And defensive.
I'll refrain. I will be just dry and boring for the rest of the show.
Please, I don't like that. That'll make me sad, Craig.
All right.
That'll make me sad on the podcast.
Can't have that.
For the love of God, please make fun of me.
Well, we don't want to lose our last 7 listeners, so I guess I won't do that.
I want to tell a story that I've been meaning to tell for a while, and it did not happen in 2018, but it's something that I was thinking about earlier today. Is that fine?
Yeah.
Yeah, do it.
Okay, so I think it was right around when we ended the TV and Lust podcast, or maybe like in the break where we did like one final episode, like a month or 2 or 3 later between like the second to last. Anyways,
hey guys, we're back. Just
exactly, and then we're gone forever. There was a point where I was trying to make some extra money, and I ended up trying to scalp some video games, which isn't great. As a game collector myself. But anyways, I had myself an extra copy of that Majora's Mask 3DS limited edition. You know the one, Craig.
Mm-hmm.
I do.
And I sold it on eBay. And once I sold it, the dude I sold it to was local. He was here in San Diego. So I was like, "Oh, do you want me to just drive it to you?" And he's all like, "Yeah, that's cool." And then he's like, "Hey, are you Seth from the TV and Lust podcast?"
Oh, are you kidding me?
I swear to God. And I was like, yeah, I sure am.
Fuck. No.
And then, so, the kid was going to one of the colleges out here, so I drove out to the college campus one night to drop this game off to him.
Wait, hold up. Just before you go any further, is he listening to this, do you think?
I don't know. If he is, he could tweet at me and say, "Hey, I don't care." So I'm like, oh man, I'm like a piece of shit. I'm like, this guy knows who I am. I'm like fucking scalping Majora's Mask 3DS to him. Like, he's probably just paid like double what it cost at retail or whatever. And I pull up to this college in my shitty 1997 Saturn at that time. I think the headlights were barely working. I couldn't even see well. And
You
I'm
went
like,
in the dark?
Yeah, it was nighttime. I went after work.
Oh, okay. It was dark then.
Yeah, it was dark. And then like I find him, I'm like texting him like I'm over by this one thing, whatever. And then he comes up to me, I'm like give him the game, and he's all hey, I'm like hey, and then he looked like he wanted to say something to me so bad, like it was just like eating at him, like I don't know what he like. He wanted to like say hey, I enjoyed the podcast, or like he wanted to say like why the fuck are you scalping games on eBay? I don't know what he wanted to say, but I could obviously tell something was on his mind. But I didn't want to hear it, so I was just like, all right, bye then. And then he's all like, okay, bye. And then I drove off, and then I just felt so, like, weird. Like, not even bad, just weird. I felt weird about that whole experience.
So is this like a missed connection? This is like, hey, person.
I mean, you could have gotten a hand job out of this deal, and you just blew it.
No.
I want to know what he was thinking. If he's listening, he could text me and tell me like if he had wanted. I know he wanted to say something. He could tell me what he wanted to say.
Oh, if he's listening, just kidding about the hand job.
Anyway, that's a thing that happened, and it was very strange.
Goodness.
When I at the, I mean, I don't want to sound pretentious. I hate talking about myself this way, but like when I was at the height of my popularity and people would approach me at like cons and stuff, that was a little weird. And not like weird in a bad, not like weird in like, oh, these people are creepy. Like, I don't mean that. I don't mean to be insulting. It's just, it's a strange situation for me because I'm just like, you know, just a fat nobody who talks about video games on YouTube. And, you know, these people they often don't know what to say because to them, you know, you're sort of a celebrity. I'm using that word very, very liberally, of course.
Right.
But you're sort of a celebrity. And I think at that moment when you both see each other and you're like, yeah, that's me, you're both suddenly acutely aware of the asymmetric power dynamic where they know so much about me because they know my face, know my voice, my name. They know, a bit about my life, and I don't fucking know this person at all. And I think that might be what happened there, where like just both people just end up being aware, like, yeah, this is a little strange.
Yeah.
And maybe you didn't want to be weird about it.
Right, right, exactly, yeah.
Or felt, or regretted being like, are you Seth from the TV and Less podcast?
And it's this sad man drives up in a 97 Saturn.
Oh, God, yeah, I don't know.
Look, kid, you want the game? I got bills to pay. Takes a drag off his cigarette.
I don't smoke, Craig.
You don't
Good,
smoke.
you shouldn't. It's bad for you.
Is it? I've never heard this before.
Yep.
I just thought it looked funny.
Newsflash.
Also, I went to another concert last weekend.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it was Mickey James, Wells, and The Regrets. And
Don't know nothing about none of that.
The Regrets are like the super fun chick punk rock band.
Ooh.
That sounds like something I'd be into.
Yeah, and they got the fucking place going. It was insane the whole time once they took the stage. They were headlining. It was crazy. I think you'd like them. They have really fun, good songs. It's Regrets, spelled like a E-T-T-E at the end, like a suffragette.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah, I get it. Haha, that's clever.
Yeah. But no, that show was badass. It was way better than the last one, and no 30 Seconds to Mars.
Shucks.
Good. That's good.
Anyways, my 2018 was I went to concerts, and I'm sad during the winter.
At least you went to concerts.
Yeah.
That's fun.
And at least your sadness is contained to winter.
For the most part.
No, it's really not.
It's just worse in the winter.
It's omnipresent.
I just can't cope. I just can't cope with it during the winter.
It is a lot harder.
What's the winter like for you in California, Seth? Are you in a place where it gets cold?
Like to me, it's cold.
Okay, I mean that's valid.
Yeah. Let me tell. It's 53 degrees right now.
Okay,
That's what it is here, actually.
And I'm wearing like sweaters and my warm pajama bottoms and stuff like that.
Our windows are open, and I'm wearing shorts and a t-shirt at the same time.
Yeah, no, I can't deal with that. Once it gets into the 50s, I'm like, oh my god, it's freezing out because I'm a baby.
No, you just need to live in a different.
You live in a place where it's usually 80, right? Whereas
in the 70s, it's very mild.
Oh, okay. Well, once it gets to like 75, 80 here, we're like, oh, I'm dying.
Well, that's because it's also like 100% humidity.
Yeah, but all the same, like the temperature difference to us. Like I don't like being cold, but I'd rather it be cool so I can put on, 18 layers than it be so hot and I can't do anything about it. So
yeah.
No, I'm much better at dealing with the heat.
Yeah, no,
so
not
I
equipped.
can do that.
No, not me. I sweat like a fucking pig.
No,
Same.
Especially since like my cousins live out in the desert, and I grew up visiting them all the time, and it gets like 100 plus out where they live. So
I want to go to a desert sometime, just to experience it.
Pass.
Let me tell you, there's not a lot out there.
That's my understanding. Except for that
if you
it's
want to go,
hot.
you got to pick a pretty one like Joshua Tree or something, where there's actually like stuff to see.
Yeah, but people go there. I want to go to a place where there's no people.
Joshua Tree is so big, and it's still a desert. You could like drive around and like see just one car every now and then.
Oh, okay.
It's not crowded. I've been out there a couple times. There's nobody out there because it's still the desert. People still don't like going to the desert.
It's not a crowded desert.
All right. Well, I'll put it on the list of places to go one day.
Actually, and there's a place. I can't remember where it is. My dad used to take me out there when I was little, and it's out in the middle of the desert, and there's just like hundreds of thousands of fossilized clams out there because it used to be ocean in this area millions of years ago, and there's just fucking clams everywhere. And I found a rock once that had like the perfect impression of a little like helix fossil shell on it, and I fucking lost it before I got back to the car. It fell out of my pocket when I fell down one of the little.
Before you could bring it back to life, and it was ammonite.
It was not. This is not a Pokemon story, Craig. This is real life.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, so me and Pikachu got back to the car, and I just didn't have it on me anymore.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's good. There's some good deserts.
Yeah.
I mean, they suck, but they're fine for just
They suck
for a little bit.
For you keep the AC running. All right.
Yeah. My girlfriend will be so thrilled with this episode that we're not talking about video games.
It has been 42 minutes. It's coming.
Yep.
It's getting okay. Let's. Do we want to discuss anything about 2018 or deserts?
No.
Or awkward meetups with people who
I'm okay.
listen to our voice?
No one listens to my voice.
They are right now.
Nope.
They are now.
You're
going to be internet famous.
Well.
Well.
I don't know about that.
All right. Well, let's talk about some video games then. I've been playing some new games. I'm not just going to talk about Overwatch and all that. Although I have been playing that. One thing I want to know, and I don't know if your girlfriend's going to be mad that I'm discussing Destiny at all.
No, she's tuned out now. Video game started. She's gone.
Bye. I haven't been playing Destiny, and Destiny 2 had it's had a lot of downloadable content. I think too much. At this point, if you're keeping up with all the content, and I mean the game is just over a year old. It's like a year and some change. It's a year and a couple of months. It's not that old. It's $165 worth of content.
What?
Holy moly!
Yeah. It's
is that like game modes and stuff, not just like costumes or whatever?
Right. That's game modes. It's not loot boxes or if you want a special edition or anything like that. That's just basically if you bought the downloadable expansions or whatever when they came out. You have the base game at $60. You had two small expansions, Warmind and Curse of Osiris. They're $20 a piece, but $35 if you bought them in a double pack. So I'm counting the double pack as purchasing that. It's $35. Then there was Forsaken, the big expansion, that was $40. And then before Forsaken came out, they said there's also this season pass, and you're like, what the fuck? And that was $30, and that new content dropped. Part of it, they're spacing it out, but part that dropped just after Forsaken, like a couple of months after Forsaken. And for me, it just personally, the way I've always approached games is they cost what they cost. If I can't afford it, I don't buy it. If I don't like it, maybe I'll gripe about it on Twitter, but then I move on my life. Or if I want to play it, I pay for it. Like that's it. That's just what it is. And if it has additional content, I buy it if I want it. I don't buy it if I don't want it. It's not been, I complain about stuff, but generally speaking, it's not been very complicated. But with like Destiny, to me, it's just, this is the first time I've looked at it and said, this is, when it's been a game that I've played, it just seems really money grubbing. And I don't typically feel that way about a game. I'm just like, well, games cost money. And now I'm like, why is there so much shit? Why are there so many add-ons here and they cost money? And the thing is, like, you can not buy that stuff, but then you don't get access to everything. You can no longer continue leveling your character to a certain point. You fall behind. Groups don't want to team up with your frugal ass. And you're not getting the most out of this game that you've been investing your time into. But then the problem is, if you do pay for it, not only now you're investing all this money, you also end up investing a ton of time because it's highly repetitive content. I think that's the biggest thing is like I don't feel that the game content is worth all that money. I don't think the game world it's not an MMO in a traditional sense. It's not an expansive, radiant world. It's a lot of highly repetitive content. And that's unfortunate. Like I've loved the series. I've had my gripes about Destiny 2 here and there, but I just once that season pass dropped, I'm like I don't want to pay for this. And if I don't pay for this, I'm not going to be able to keep up. And so I'm not going to play it at all then.
Oh no! Now we can't
talk about Destiny. I know. I just wanted to point that out, though. Like, for me, it's very disappointing.
It seems like a very shitty games as a service model. Like it's just too much, too fast, and not worth it. It seems like. Yeah,
because there'll probably be another like. There'll be something similar to like Warmind or Curse of Osiris in the spring. I guarantee you there'll be another piece of content to drop money on. Like the game will, by the end of it, the game will probably have a roughly a 2-year run, and it'll cost $200 plus, for the game content. Again, not including the game has loot boxes. It has loot boxes and cosmetics you can pay for up front, that aren't like loot box based. So there's a lot of places where like Activision and or Bungie are just sticking out their hand and asking for more, and it's like, I just don't feel like what they're giving you in return is worth them, trying to collect from you so often.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sounds shitty. But it's Activision. I mean, they'll figure out any way to make money.
That's true.
And if people are paying with it, it's not like they're going, oh no, Craig Lupinski's not gonna keep playing our game anymore, because I'm sure there's hundreds of thousands of people who are. So
that's true. And you and I have a friend who's former Bungie, and he seems to suggest that a lot of the hardcore players are really loving the game more than ever. But at the same time, I've also read that Activision's never going to be, unless every person on the planet is playing the game, they're never going to be happy with the numbers, but apparently they're unhappy with the numbers. I don't know what that means, but
it sounds like something that would be really intimidating to get into. Like, if you were just like, oh, Destiny 2, what's this? Oh, this sounds fun. And you just buy the game like at Target or whatever. And you're gonna get in there and you're gonna be like, what is happening? Why can't I find anybody to play with? Like,
yes.
that's gonna suck. And so that might be part of the problem.
Well, here's the irony in that, is that whenever an expansion comes out, and I'll give them credit here, is that you can then buy that expansion with all the past expansions and the base game for like $50 or $60.
Oh, okay.
So like, where like Forsaken cost me $40 to add on, someone could have spent $50 or $60 and gotten everything. Forsaken, Warmind, Curse of Osiris, the base game. They could have gotten everything.
Okay.
So they're pretty good about packing that value for new players. It's kind of like cable companies where like if you're a new customer, they'll give you the discounts. If you're an existing customer, fuck you. So that's great. So like once Destiny 2 starts coming towards its end, towards its twilight, I wouldn't say when it's at its very end, because then, the player base is going to go down. But, let's say like 6 months before Destiny 3 is going to hit, you could probably get all of the content for $60 or less. And the ironic thing is that's a great time to jump in. That's a shit ton of stuff to play for $60. But on the other hand, it's going to be so overwhelming, and you're going to be surrounded by people that are just so much higher level. I don't know what you're going to get out of. You're going to have this buffet of content, and it's going to be too much for you to indulge in.
Right.
So yeah, that's the game I'm not playing. So
nice.
I guess we'll
good job talking about the games you're not playing. Right?
Okay, GG. I downloaded a ton of games on the Switch. I'm kind of happy that Nintendo actually has a marketplace that participates in seasonal sales, because like the Wii, I don't even think the Wii had the capability to put things on sale at all. I don't think.
I can't remember any sales on the Wii back in the day. No.
And they're pretty uncommon on the Wii U and 3DS as well. I mean, it happens. Things have gone on sale on those platforms, but it just wasn't as common. And it wasn't like it is on the Switch, which is much more competitive with other platforms. So I bought, so many games I was holding out on. I bought Civilization 6, played that for a hot second. I played the tutorial. It was so fucking overwhelming. I've never played a Civilization game in my life. And it's interesting because the game itself during the tutorial likened itself to a board game, and that's basically what it's like. It's a very complicated board game. I'm going to spend some more time with it, but I basically played the tutorial. It's very overwhelming, but it's very interesting. It's very easy to get into because there are a lot. It's very complicated. There are a lot of rules, but at the same time, it tells you what moves you can make, like before you end your turn. Like there's a little notification center. It's like, oh, you can do this with this unit, or you can produce this, and it'll remind you and bring up those menus. So you're not gonna like not do those things, which is convenient. So played a little bit of that. I also downloaded Moonlighter, which I've been looking forward to. It went on sale on the other platforms before it went on sale on Switch, and I'm like, oh, come on. It came out later on Switch than it did on other platforms, so I was kind of worried that they wouldn't put it on sale on the Switch because it's a newer release. Like, we're not gonna put it on sale, but they did. I played a little bit of that. That's a game. It's almost like a Harvest Moon game in some ways, like a hometown story or something. But you go dungeon crawling and you bring back junk from the dungeons, and then you run a shop and sell those things.
I think you were telling me about this.
Yeah, and you have to price them right, and it's a guessing game to figure out how to price them.
You did tell me.
I did tell you.
You did. I remember you explaining that part and me being like, it seems like too much work.
It's not that much work. But it's an interesting little game. Here's the downside, though. All these games I'm going to talk about, I haven't played that much because I downloaded a shit ton of them all at once. So I really only dipped my toes into like many streams. I haven't really swam in them yet. I also downloaded Celeste. That's a good fucking video game.
I'm buying that tomorrow because they're putting up the physical version on limited run games tomorrow.
Are you getting the limited edition?
Is there a limited edition?
Yeah,
version of
it comes with the soundtrack on an audio cassette. It's really cool.
Jeez, mate. Oh yeah, I see it. They didn't have it up earlier today, but I see it up there now.
It's like $80 or something like that for the Switch version. But
yeah, 75.
That might be other platform. I could have sworn I said it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, it's 80 on Switch and 75 on PS4.
But Celeste is really fucking good. That soundtrack is that's so good. The platforming is so spot on. And here's the thing, it shouldn't be a surprise. It shouldn't be shocking. Like people have said this is a great game. It's won awards. Chris talked about it. God rest his soul. I shouldn't be surprised, but at the same time, the thing is, I was a little paralyzed by the choices on the eShop. When you have games like Celeste, Hollow Knight, Dead Cells, The Messenger, all these get Chasm. That's another one that came out. They all look very similar. I think out of all those, Celeste is a bit different than the others, but you have like these retro looking or retro inspired games, these platformers, Metroidvania or whatever. at their core, they're kind of samey. And even when they're well regarded, I look at all these and I go, okay, I know I'm going to like at least a couple of these, but I don't know which one. I know that the nuances between them are going to be the deciding factor about which one I prefer over the other. Mm-hmm. But there's like 6 of them here and I don't fucking know. And so that made it hard to sort of dive into these games. That's why only now I'm getting into some of them.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about because I'll do that a lot, and I'll like look up YouTube videos, and I'll be like, I can't. I don't think I'll like that one. All right, this one looks a little better, and then it's hard to find YouTube videos where it's not just some asshole talking over everything.
Right? Hey, everyone, it's your dude, Chili D.
Yeah, exactly.
Back again with another video. Yeah, no, I know what you mean. But even when you watch the footage, you're like, yeah, I know how this is going to play, but am I going to love it? Like, it's tough. It's tough. And
at least there's a few where I could like spot right away that like, no, this one's not going to do it for me.
Right.
Usually,
same here.
Usually when there's oh my god, what's it called? When they're roguelites, I'm usually like, no, I don't want to deal with that.
Which some of these are, like Dead Cells is sort of roguelike-ish. Hollow Knight has some it's more like Souls-like. There's a little bit of Souls-y kind.
Yeah. I could probably deal with that.
Chasm, I think, is roguelike. Because that seems to be popular now too. There seems to be a bit more of that in some of these these Metroidvania games, or Metroidvania-ish, I guess, adjacent, tend to have some roguelike aspects. But yeah, I mean, it's hard. Even when people like love games, it's hard to know which one. Like everyone like raved about Yoku's Island Express, and I could not get into that game. Like putting pinball into a Metroidvania game, like you best have the best goddamn pinball to like shake up a genre like that, and it doesn't. It's got it all the. I mean, I'm sure what it's doing is easing you in, but all the early tables are boring as hell, and I'm like, you don't have to ease me into fucking pinball. It's pinball. It's been around since like 1932. You don't need to ease me into fucking pinball, Yoku's Island Express.
Is it better than Sonic Spinball?
Yes.
All right, and I
low bar to clear, but yes,
it's a very low bar. But it's the only game that I could think of where they try to do like platforming, pinballing type of thing.
It's too, maybe this is coming from the perspective of someone who's like not a pinball wizard, but pinball to me is too imprecise. Like even when you're good at it, there's still an element of like chance or luck. And it's too imprecise to be a Metroidvania to me. Like Metroidvania to me, part of that is precision. It's precision jumping. It's precision attacking. It's like knowing where to go and cutting your way there immediately. That's part of that genre to me. Bouncing around like in a pinball, like hoping you get, down that alley or hit that bumper, that's not what I want from a Metroidvania game.
Well, I mean, that's the same problem Sonic Spinball had. I just played that game for months until I actually got good enough to beat it. That's probably like one of the stupidest and hardest games I've played and beat to completion. And it's just because I didn't have any other games back in the day. Like the whole time I was playing it, even when I was in elementary school, I was like, this game's fucking terrible. I'm going to beat it, though.
I'm going to beat it, though. Watch me do it.
There's... I'm going to diverge here, but the last boss in Sonic Spinball, if like you fuck up, he'll fling you, and it's so hard to get all the way up to him. There's so much very precise pinball platforming you have to do to get all the way up to where this boss is. And if you like fuck up a move against him, he will fling you out a window, and you will fall all the way back down to the beginning of the level. And it probably takes like another 10-15 minutes just to get back up to him. If
I would rage quit
without dying. I've made it to the last boss more times than I've beat the last boss easily. It's insane. It's stupid. It's a very horrible genre.
Yes, don't download Yoku's Island Express. I wouldn't recommend it in that case.
I sort of just want to hate beat it now, though, Craig.
No, play something you'll actually enjoy.
I get some enjoyment out of hating a game while I play it sometimes, though. I don't know what it is.
It's like my relationship with Destiny.
And or Overwatch.
No, I genuinely like Overwatch.
You just don't like other players.
I don't like the people who play it. That's the problem.
It's sort of like a take this, you piece of shit. I'm overcoming you. Like, even though you're horrible and shitty, I'm still gonna beat you. That's how good I am.
Is that like hate fucking?
I guess I've never hate fucked before. So
yeah, me
I don't
neither.
know.
But that's what I imagine it's like. You know?
Yeah, no, that's actually probably spot on. You're like, yeah, fuck you, you piece of shit. Yeah,
Wow,
that makes sense.
get carried away.
No, I was just trying to get in the mentality.
I'm just illustrating what someone would do when they hate fuck.
I was picturing Sonic Spinball, but fucking it. So yeah, that was making,
That was an accurate depiction.
yeah, it was making sense to me. So,
I was
I get
convinced.
that. Yep.
Anyway, so in addition to Celeste, I've been playing. I did download Hollow Knight. It went on sale for $9, something like that. I wasn't sure I was gonna like this because I'm not a big fan of like Souls mechanics where you like lose shit when you died. I'm not a fan of that. I don't like being punished because I died. I don't like punitive gameplay. I think a game like Shovel Knight I love, and it has that same kind of idea. Like when you die, you lose some of it. You don't lose all of your money. You lose some of your money, and then you can go recollect it. But that game is structured in such a way where like if you then die again before you collect your money and you end up losing it. It's not like the world's greatest crime. Like you can still play the game having like permanently lost some of your money. It's not like a huge deal. It's a benefit if you don't, but not like the world's biggest drawback. If you lose that. So I thought that was okay in Shovel Knight. It didn't really bother me, but I'm skeptical of it in other games. Hollow Knight, I haven't died in yet, so I'm not sure what it looks like. It's very. What I like about it so far is that it feels very sort of gothic celestial horror. Well, that's what people suggest online to say instead of say Lovecraftian. Because rather than giving that racist his own genre, you can say
because he's a piece of shit,
right? You can say like gothic horror, or cosmic horror. And so,
I was always a fan of cosmic horror. That's
yeah, and that's what it so far has struck me like. It's very sort of like dark and creepy, but in a Lovecraft story way, not in like in an overt way. Like the writing is very good. I mean, I don't know where the adventure is going to go or like where it's going to take me, but it sort of begins by like finding like this abandoned town. And then you're told that like the townsfolk have just gone down the well. They disappeared. They just went down the well and they left. There's no one left. There's no one here. And so then you end up going like down this well. And that's where the game, and to me, like that already is very evocative. That's already very creepy again. And like, I feel like in a very Lovecraft kind of way. Mm-hmm. Townsfolk are gone. They went down the well. Don't recommend you go down that well.
Bye.
I'm going down the well. That's precisely where you're going. So I'm really into the mood, the tone that game has set so far. Not a fan of like not having. Ostensibly, there'll be a map at some point because in the town there's like a map maker shop. And he's like, I'll be open later for all your map making needs. And I'm like, no, I have a need right now. I want a map. So I have no map. I'm just sort of wandering around. That's sort of pleasant in its own way to just sort of wander around and see what I come across. But I like to know where I'm at, and I don't have that.
It doesn't like make your own map or anything.
Not that I found. I don't think there's anything. I press pause and nothing comes up, and maybe there's a button combination.
That drives me crazy.
Yeah, there's nothing.
I would get lost.
Yeah, it's very anxiety inducing, but perhaps that is the point. Maybe that's what goes along with the cosmic horror, so to speak. Mm-hmm. But again, I haven't died yet. I haven't really run anything into anything super challenging yet. I'm sure that'll come. So my opinion might change, but I think I like it. I'm glad I downloaded it. I'm glad I've given it this chance so far. And the last game I've been playing is Dead Cells. Which number one I find interesting because the studio is actually a socialist studio. It's like, when it comes to like socialism, you have like a socialist economic government model, and then you have like socialist labor policies where, you don't have a capitalist there earning all the money and then giving it back to you in the form of wages. everyone there is sort of like equal in the workplace, and that's his studio. There are no bosses. Everyone earns the same, and I think that alone is very interesting. And not just that, but they've created a successful, popular game that's winning awards. It's not just like, hey, we're a socialist studio and here's our piece of shit. They've actually succeeded utilizing that model and producing a game that people enjoy, and I think that's really cool. But Dead Cells, so far it is a roguelike with a changing dungeon. So when you die, like, it's written into the game, like it's funny because like the first, I say funny, but like as you're progressing through like the sort of like opening area in the safe zone where you can, I don't know, equip mutations or whatever, or there are permanent upgrades you can unlock with money. So, you can talk to the shopkeeper or whatever in the safe zone, but you'll pass by a pile of rotting bodies and you can look at them and your character says, these look familiar. Oh, it's me.
Oh no.
Right. So it's like you do actually die over and over again.
So it's like in the Prestige.
Kind of, yeah. I'm not really sure what the narrative element of that constant death is. But usually I'm not a fan of roguelikes. Usually I'm not a fan of like randomized dungeons. I'm not a fan of that stuff. The randomized dungeons here so far, it would be nice to know where everything is. I would prefer a set designed level. But on the other hand, the randomization element it's also done well. Like if you like randomized dungeons, I think you'll get something out of this because they're actually done very well and they're constructed very well, I think. You can earn permanent upgrades, as I said, so that's something. You're not empty-handed each time you go into a dungeon. There are these blueprints you can collect and bring back. I haven't survived long enough to bring any of those back. I'm not really sure what they do. I think that you can bring the blueprints back and then purchase those weapons with gold that you've banked. I think that's where that's going, but I'm not 100% sure. Mm-hmm. The platforming and the combat in it is so fast and so it feels like that the combat and the movement is wasted on randomized dungeons and roguelike elements. Like I wish it was more traditional fixed Castlevania, Metroidvania style game. But it's so fluid. It feels so good, and it's so good that I'm overlooking the things I generally don't prefer. Even though they are implemented well, like I said, those elements are implemented well. They're just not my favorite, but it's not bothering me so much. I think the good stuff definitely overrides that for me.
Sounds like something I would enjoy trying at least.
Well, you can try mine if you want.
Yeah, I think I might, maybe, because that sounds fun.
That's it. That's it for me. Seth, what have you been playing?
Dancing games. And by
Tell
dancing
us
games,
more.
I mean rhythm games.
Yeah?
I've Persona 3 dancing, Persona 5 dancing, Persona 4 dancing. Just dancing.
Dancing forever.
Just dancing forever. Dancing in moonlight, dancing in starlight.
Dancing all night.
Dancing all night, exactly. That's number 4. As like somebody unfamiliar with the Persona games, the characters are like very much thrust upon you, and you get to know them very well. And I got to say, the Persona 5 cast is probably my favorite, and now it's got me jonesing to play like real Persona and not just music rhythm games. I don't even know where I can't talk about it. So we were talking about the story mode in 4, because 4 actually has a story mode that's like canonical to the whole Persona series, I guess. Mm-hmm. Or and for 3 and 5 are like the sequels to Persona 4. I don't know why they did those two at all, but it's kind of funny because those two games have nothing to do with like music or pop idols or dancing or anything like that. So they're like, hey, how do we work a dancing game into these and still sort of like make them work into a story? Well, they got rid of the story mode completely. Instead, there's like a social link scenes that you unlock by completing certain tasks within the game, like play so many songs with different costumes or beat so many songs with brilliance and stuff like that. Then you unlock social links where you go talk to the different characters that you can play as the different Persona characters.
And is that still fun doing that?
Oh, no, not at all. You get to know them, but it's so weird just to have like these conversation bits within a rhythm game. But they actually get a little fun once you get to social rank 6. There's you get up to like 8 social ranks with each character. Once you get up to social rank 6, you get to like visit the characters' rooms, and then they make it up an excuse to leave. And then you get to do like a little scavenger hunt in their room where you try to find a card that one of the godlike characters is hidden within the room. So that's fun, running around inside the room in first person, trying to find a hidden card in there.
Are the cards the Arcana cards?
No, they're just like little notes from the chicks who run the Velvet Room.
Okay, so they don't represent like the Fool and stuff like that. Okay,
no. They're just like, congrats, you found the card, you get a present for finding it, and then you unlock some accessories or outfits or something like that for finding them.
Well, that seems like a wasted opportunity.
I don't even know what Arcana cards are within the context of Persona. Like I said, I haven't played them.
Well, like the social links in the main games, the people that you can interact with and build relationships with, whether that's romantic or friendship or otherwise, they represent. They're tied to like I guess you can almost call it like an element, like in Pokemon, but they're like Arcana. They're called Arcana. So I can't remember. The Fool is the only one I can remember off the top of my head. I don't even want to try to remember any else. But, these characters will be tied to this element. And the more that you rank up your social rank with that person, the more powerful personas you can create under that Arcana.
Okay. No, see, in this one, the social rank building up literally is unlocks, different unlocks for the game modes and stuff.
It's game modes? Like, does it do, like, songs or, like, costumes? Like, what is it?
The very last one gives you costumes. Some of them are game modes. It's a bunch. So the very last one you unlock is a new character and a couple new songs. And then all the ones before that are game modes, like challenge modifiers, making the game easier, more difficult. And then costumes and accessories.
Gotcha.
So, and they have like dialogue options in them, but they change absolutely nothing at all within these social links. They're just for funsies, I guess.
It sounds like they're trying to like wedge like traditional Persona stuff into these games and like just not knowing what to like the story. Like the way you made it sound is like they had this story with Persona dancing all night, and then they're like, that's too hard, and they just didn't do it at all.
Well, I think it made more sense with Persona 4 because one of the characters is a pop idol, and so like it makes sense that there's music and dancing and stuff, within that. So with 3 and 5, what they did is I don't know what the beings that run the Velvet Room are called. Anyways, so
well, you have Igor. Igor is the old man.
I guess he would be the master because there's girls. Margaret is the one for 4. Caroline for 5. Caroline and Justine for 5. And then, I can't remember.
Well, he also does have ladies, but there's like an old dude. Named
Okay,
Igor.
so he's not there. It's all the ladies.
It's only the ladies. We got the old men out of the game. We don't need them. Get out the riffraff out of here.
So basically, the lady, whoever is in 3, and the lady in 5 were like, oh, the lady from 4's guest, who's the main Persona character, which would be, I guess, you. In Persona 4, they're like, oh, well, he beats some cosmic horror with dancing and stuff, and we think our guest would be able to have done it easier, so we're going to pit our 2 guests against each other in dance battles. So basically, like, between the 3 and 5 games, the reason that you were summoned there is to have a dance battle against the opposite game's protagonists. It's very...
That's a very interesting, convoluted... like, imagine if you only got one of those games. You'd have no idea.
I think 3 was it? It's 3 and 5 are in the same package, right?
Oh, are they?
You could buy one that has both of them. Otherwise, they're separate.
Oh, okay. So are they like Pokemon versions then?
Yeah, basically.
Gotcha.
I mean, they're completely different track listings. But it's
right.
3 is one and 5 is another one. All the there's DLC songs. The package I bought came with 2 different ones, and then there's a few free ones just to download. And all the DLC goes to both games as far as songs go. So if you download songs for 3, it also works in 5, and vice versa.
Gotcha.
But then the base game songs are all specific to their own version. And all the aesthetics for the games are done in the aesthetic style of whatever game it is that you're playing. And then there's little nods to each other, basically they're stuck in this dream world in the Velvet Room area, and one of the characters from 3 is able to make contact with one of the characters on 5 through her laptop or something, and then that's mentioned in both games, in each of the characters' social links and stuff. So there's little nods to each other and stuff, so that you know that they're taking place at the same time.
So for people who are paying attention and not just trying to do the rhythm part of it, there's actually something worth paying attention to.
Yeah, and I like most of the characters. The Persona 3 voice acting is so bad for the. I don't know, I don't know. The voice acting's really bad in the 3 dancing game, but the 5 one's a lot better. But they're fun. They're fun. I like them. I know Craig wasn't hot on them, but I'm digging the dancing bits, the rhythm game bits a lot, and I finished 3 and I'm almost done with 5, but they're good. They're good stuff.
I wanted to like Persona 4 dancing all night. I mean, I love Persona. I love the music. Rhythm games, not very good at them, but there's some that I like. I could not get into it for the life of me.
4 easily has the best music out of the 3 of them.
It does. Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, 4 is my favorite. 3 is a close second, but 4 is definitely my favorite.
3 is a lot of a lot of background Japanese rapping, the third chapter Street Fighter 3 type of video game rap, where I'm I don't even know what they're saying, It's just where it's just playing, but I'm not really paying attention to it. There's a lot of tracks with just rapping on it like that in 3. And 5's got some bangers though. I think my listing as far as song tiers would be 4, 5, and then 3.
3 is a little more subtle. I don't think it got a little more flamboyant with 4. Mm-hmm. I think 3 had its music was a little more subtle, I think.
Right.
But 5, I don't know. I couldn't get into the game in general, and so I guess maybe that that's part of the reason why the music didn't really resonate with me.
I've read that it has really bad pacing issues, which makes it hard to get into.
Terrible pacing issues. Yeah, I think we talked about that last episode, actually.
I believe we did.
And then I've also been playing some Katamari Damacy Reroll.
Yay!
I wanted to play it just so me and Megan could have a conversation about it.
Heck yeah!
And
How's it going, Seth?
You're right, man. That thing's fucking hard to control. I've
been playing
that game since PS2.
I love how you tried to argue with me about that last episode.
Have you tried the simple or the motion controls?
No, because I'm stubborn.
Well,
I'm a stubborn person, and I'm I played this on PS2 with these controls. I can do it again. And it's just, I'm doing it, but man, it's just putting my stomach in a knot the whole time because it's not doing exactly what I want to do. And it's just kind of just right on the verge of annoying, but not enough where I'm want to stop playing or anything,
Well, I tried simple and motion, and they're both horse shit. So just stick with. I couldn't do anything with the motion controls. I couldn't figure out what I was supposed to do. And the simple controls, they eliminated all of the nuance. While it's still a challenge to use the controls, they eliminated stuff that you kind of need. So turning the ball doesn't make any sense, and you can't jump, and it was bad. So yeah. I think I did that for 3 whole minutes. I was like, never again. No.
The game's fun though. It might be about as fun as I remember. It's not any more or less fun, but once you get to the points where you start going from little dude to rolling up people and cars and stuff, it's just so satisfying. It's so satisfying to bulldoze through the towns while people are screaming and they're ah, and you just run them over and add them to your Katamari and shoot them off into space.
It does have a very nice sense of satisfying progression, clear achieving better balls
Yeah.
and rolling up bigger things. That does feel pretty good.
I love rolling up trees, like piles of trees. It's like waxing a leg or waxing your eyebrows where you just like rip all the hair follicles out. You're like, yes.
As we all have experience with.
Well, some people might. Yeah, no, I'm a big fan of that as well. It's very satisfying.
And I like the first time, like, you think something's too big, and then you bump into it and it gets sucked onto the category, and you're like, yes. I'm up on the next tier. I can roll all these other things up. But it's fun. The music's so good. I had forgotten how good the music is.
Yes.
Yeah, music's really good.
And then some of the constellation levels, though, are kind of bugging me. Just because... No, like, I'm doing bad in some of them, though. Like, the twins level, where you gotta, like, roll up 2 of everything to make the Gemini constellation or whatever.
Yep.
Like, I just get bad ranks in them. Like, I only, like, got 60% or something in that one. Then, like, only 47% of the crowns. And then the King of Cosmos is like, oh, is that all you could do? Wow, you kind of suck. I'm like, oh, thanks, game. Thanks for encouraging me to do better, game, by just making me feel bad.
Yeah, all of my constellations are bad. Like I rolled stuff. I met the basic requirements. I've rolled all the stuff now. I finished like the game itself, but now I'm going back and trying to improve. I have the hardest time with the Ursa Major because I always accidentally roll up like a baby bear, and I'm like, no, I'm trying to get up to a big bear, because you can only roll, for those of you who are listening who haven't played yet, you can only roll one bear item. And so you have to carefully roll around collecting things that are not bears to get as big as possible and then get a bear. The problem is there's sneaky bears all over the place. So it's really about...
Sneaky fucking bears.
Yeah, it's about being good with controlling your ball. But since we've established the controls are bad, it's painful.
Yeah, it's the same with...
That's been my experience.
The swan level. Like, the swan level, only the swan eggs count, but you don't even know which ones are swan eggs and which one are ducks or chick eggs, because they all look exactly the same. So it's like...
Just roll up all the eggs.
Yeah, you're like, look at all these eggs. It's like, quack, quack, quack. I'm like, no, they're ducks. I need swans.
It needs to honk when you roll on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, that's fun, because then it makes you want to go back, because of course you're not going to get it perfect the first time.
Yeah. Yeah, and then also presents. I've only found like 2 presents on levels. I'm having a hard time finding the presents.
Yeah, I found 3 presents, and I'm like, do I Google this? Like, how am I supposed to find this?
Yeah,
it's a big-ass world. It could be any size.
Do they do anything besides aesthetic stuff?
No, it's just aesthetic stuff.
That would be better if, like, one of them made the ball control better.
Right. Yeah, that would be great.
You've unlocked the good control.
You've unlocked it so it actually can tell what direction you're trying to go in.
I feel like it is a little trickier, though, with, like, the sticks being, like, not level with each other, though.
Yeah.
Because, when I'm, like, doing the up-down to do, like, a quick turn, I'm all, like, I swear I'm doing it, but then I'll look down and one of my sticks is off at a dumb angle. I'm like, oh, I'm not. It was easier on the PS.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't ever do... I don't charge or anything, because I can't manipulate the sticks correctly because of what you just described. So
yeah, like half the times my charges will like fail. Like, you'll start spinning up and then you'll stop. I'm like, oh, okay, great, I blew it.
Thanks for wasting some of my time trying to charge.
Yeah, but no, the game's fun and I like it, and it's batshit crazy. And I don't know what's with all the square people and the cutscenes, but I like it.
Yeah, it's weird, but I'm into it. The like quote unquote story of
of the kids telling their mom that the stars are disappearing. She's like, "Oh, that's nice. Whatever.
Let's go see your father.
He's an astronaut.
Gonna go into space. Gonna go to the moon."
That's as far as I've gotten, though. Don't tell me what happens after.
Oh, okay, I won't.
I think. Me and Hugh also played even more Resident Evil 5, and we platinumed the game, so I think we're done with it.
Nice.
We're going to move on to Resident Evil 6 now, so...
Nice.
That'll be fun.
Good job, Seth and Hugh.
Thank you. I carried Hugh the whole way, by the way. He's just like, oh, man. The last time we were playing, I think whoops was, like, said probably 150 times by him. Just like, whoops. I'm like, what now? He was like, whoops. I'm like, oh, man.
And what, did he apologize profusely?
Oh, yeah.
He's a very apologetic fellow. He's very considerate of other people.
He's very considerate. But, yeah, so we're going to do Resident Evil 6 next, and that should be super fun.
That sounds like it'd be fun.
That's it for me.
Nice. Fun. Well, I guess it's my turn.
Yeah, it's your turn, Megan.
All right.
So on to news.
So it's Castle Cats Day 502, which is cool. Nothing exciting there. I just hit level 172. I grew the last available regular egg that you can, grow at any time, and it took me 1 billion years to get all of the materials to do so. So that's exciting. And the cat itself has a special perk where if you send it on a quest where there is a gem as a quest reward, it will then give you 2 gems instead of 1. Her name is Nicole, and she's like...
That's such an anticlimactic thing. The cat's name is Steve, and it gets you 2 gems.
And she looks sort of like a cyber goth. I don't know what she's referencing. Maybe nothing. And it was called the Magic Scarf Egg, but I don't know what they're referencing, because it's not like a Doctor Who...
Scarf, Nicole, and Goth.
Well, she just looks goth.
There's got to be something there.
I'm going to look that up, but I think it's going to bring me to like a Suicide Girl site or
probably.
something.
That's a good point. Yeah, no, but that sounds like too specific to like not be a reference.
And since everything is some sort of reference, I'm like I don't understand a lot of the references, so I just don't bother. Last time we talked about the Nutcracker cat. I am 3 gingerbread cats deep into this crafting experience. I have to get another, oh God, so many materials. But I'm halfway there, and the event's halfway over, so I might actually do this before the end of the event. So that's exciting.
I hope you do it.
I really want to do it because I think I can, if only to say I did. And Dina, my twin Dina, she plays Castle Cats, and she's a higher level than me, and I don't know if she's doing the Nutcracker Cat, but it's kind of like a fun race that I don't know if she knows she's participating in. But I'm thinking of it like that. Last time I said that you had to pay for the Krampus cat, and I found out that was wrong. It costs gems, so that's exciting.
And with Nicole, you got those double gems now.
Well, so Nicole cost 500 gems and 75 red rare embers and 30 gold nuggets to grow. So she was an expensive baby. So I'm kind of wiped out on gems at the moment.
I gotcha.
Especially because I bought myself a cat outfit for the season for this cat named Bob, and usually his outfit is a little cardboard box that has an airplane drawing on it because he wants to be able to fly. And in the quest story, he flies on Santa's sled, so his little Christmas outfit is him in a sled, and he just looks so happy. So I bought it.
You sacrificed your Krampus for Bob.
Yeah, that's fine. I'd rather have Bob looking so happy. Honestly, because I have 101 cats.
Would you say he's looking so fly?
He is looking so fly.
You can make a coat now. You have enough cats to make a coat.
I do.
But a greyhound fur tuxedo would be best.
It's going. Castle Cats. We're moving on.
No, hold on. We're not moving on.
Okay.
Does the Krampus cat look horrifying, like the actual Krampus monster demon thingy?
I mean, he looks more sinister than any of the other cats. There's a Cthulhu cat, but he's still cute, whereas the Krampus one just looks sort of menacing.
Okay.
I mean, I can take a screenshot of him and send it to you if you want.
You should do that.
I will. Okay. Is that all for your Castle Cats questions?
Yeah, no, that was it this episode.
All right. We're moving on. I'm still playing Fallout 76, even though I rage quit the other day because I was doing a series of quests for a Brotherhood of Steel storyline, and I think that the quest level is too high for where I am right now. because I went to a space, or I ended up in a space where there were 2 fissure sites, and the fissure sites are basically areas where a lot of scorched and scorched beasts populate. And at one point, I was being chased by 5 scorched beasts, most of which were like level 50 and up, because there had been somebody in the area who was like level 75, so that threw like the level cap way out of whack. So there were like level 68 scorched on the ground, and scorched beasts, and like angry dogs, and bloat flies, and sting wings. And so I was just, I used all of my stim packs, and I was in power armor, which is the only reason why I didn't die as often as I should have. It was very stressful.
It was very stressful to watch. Like, scorched beasts are like these enormous flying, like, fucking dragons.
They're like weird bat things, and they emit like a radioactive pulse, and then they like piss out this like radioactive fog that just kills, like just hammers on your HP.
So there's 5 of these fucking dragons chasing her, peeing all over her. There's fucking disgusting radioactive clouds everywhere. They're screaming at her because they're like
very loud.
Ultrasonic or something like that. They're just screaming at her and hitting her. And then scorched are diseased humans. So they're kind of like ghouls, I guess, like Fallout ghouls. So she's being hunted by these. You're running through like ravines or something.
I'm in the bog, which is it used to be a cranberry bog. So the ground is very uneven, and there's patches that it all looks like it's flat, but you'll end up falling into what is basically like it would have been a stream bed or something had there been water in it.
It was very stressful to, like, just watch this person, like, just being screamed at from all angles, running through, like, these ravines where she doesn't, I mean, there's no sense of direction.
Right.
And then the scorched, the human one, like, the human dudes are, like, chasing you through these. There's, like, dogs, like, coming at, it was I had never said it was bananas.
I never lost aggro either, which is what sucked, because I was trying to run away, and, like, I was hiding. I like, went into a trailer and closed the door, and, like, cowered in a corner for 5-10 minutes, like real time, and just was hoping they'd go away. And I just was stim packing myself through the radioactive cloud of scorched beast piss, and it was just there was nothing I can do. You can't fast travel when there are enemies nearby, so I couldn't do anything. I couldn't run fast enough to escape them. There was no safe space for me to hide outside of this trailer. So basically what ended up happening was I died like 5 or 6 times. I got to the point where I was so mad about it because I just wanted to do my quest that I, instead of respawning near where I had died, I just went back to my camp. And my camp, I put in a bad place, surrounded by a bunch of mirelurks and mole rats. And so I had just died a bunch of times, respawned at my camp, and then had to fight for my life against some fucking mole rats, and almost died again because I had no stim packs. And so that's when I was like, I'm done. I'm good for today. I don't know what to do with myself right now. I'm so angry. So, before that, I'd had a really fun experience going to the DMV.
In the game?
Yes. So they're like, as part of the Brotherhood of Steel, like you have to gain access to their computer. Like you have to register yourself as a Brotherhood of Steel member. In order to do that, you have to have a military ID. In order to do that, you have to have gone to the military base and done like training to become like a military person. And so a soldier, that's the word. So I'd already done that piece. And so it was like, hey, go get your ID at the Charleston, like, DMV. So I fast traveled over to Charleston, which cost me 30 caps, and to whom we don't know. And I had to fill out some paperwork and then wait for my number to be, I had to take a number, wait for my number to be called, give my number to the robot. The robot told me, this is the wrong line. I took my paperwork back, went to the right line, got my number, waited for my number to be called, talked to the robot, was informed I needed mail because I didn't have mail to support the address I'd selected. So I had to go get the mail. And then, yes. Yes, I had to fast travel a couple of times. I had to Google where the mail was because I'd walked past the mailbox because it was hidden in a pile of junk. And I was just like, why can't, because the quest marker was like, you're two feet away from it. I could not figure out what they were referencing. I thought I was supposed to be in a circle area and then just find it on a desk or whatever. Yeah.
I think it was bugged. I think the quest marker was bugged.
Maybe. But yeah, I had a lot of fun. I was absolutely frustrated by the end of it, just like going to the real DMV, and I thought that was really fun.
I liked it. Did you want to hate fuck that moment in the game?
I did. I wanted to hate fuck both of the DMV robots. That's what I wanted to do. And I don't know, like that was, for me, like that was a really fun experience because I think Bethesda made sort of a very relatable experience for their United States of America players. I don't know if Canada has a DMV experience similar or any other countries do, probably. Bureaucracy is more or less the same everywhere. But it was sort of comforting, especially because you're in this weird foreign alien wasteland full of all this weird dangerous shit, but at least you know what to expect when you go to the DMV.
All right.
So,
that sounds like I would hate that.
You probably would. I just thought it was very funny, and I just thought it was great.
Craig, were you watching this? Was this presented?
He was.
Where it was a fun, delightful time?
Didn't look fun to me.
Okay.
Especially when she kept looking for the quest markers, just did not look like they were, because they would send her like back through like doors that she just came through.
Right.
The quest markers were definitely bugged on that one. Speaking of bugs, I was reading this article where like how Bethesda set up like launching the nukes is to be like this big end game thing, and how like people ended up launching them during the beta. And just completely undermining that.
Oh, that makes sense.
And even during the beta, a bunch of people got together and launched 3 simultaneously.
Oh my god!
And crashed the server. Just
nice.
launching 3 nukes crashed the server. It's a very stable game.
I finally found a hazmat suit, so I can actually go to a blast site if there is one, like when I'm online, because there's a challenge that will reward you atoms if you go to a blast site and take a photo. I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
Probably.
Or it's just go to the blast site. I don't remember. But I went to one and I got like close to the perimeter and it was like plus 50 rads. I was like, fuck. So I didn't have a hazmat suit then. Now I do. So next time. But it certainly seems like you would have to spend 5 hours playing this game in order to meet your daily quests, to do the weekly quests, or, like the challenges, plus whatever quests pop up wherever you are. I'm not familiar enough with the map and like where like the good monsters that the challenges require you to fight are. I don't have all of the fucking outfits that they have for the challenges. I don't know where to find them. I'm only level 40, but I've spent 40 at least hours playing this game, if not more than that, and I don't feel like I'm well enough equipped to handle most of their requirements and also continue with the quest lines that are part of the game itself, the storyline. So
I have a question.
Sure.
Earlier you mentioned with the whole radioactive piss dragons thing,
yeah,
that somebody in the area was like level 70.
Yes.
And that threw off the level cap of the enemies.
Yes.
So like if somebody who's a higher level is in an area, then just all the enemies there are going to be super strong and you're like fucked if you're a lower level.
Basically, it's like whoever gets there when the stuff spawns. So if I'm level 40, if I'm in an area where like there are places where the monsters will be level 1, level 10, like they'll be baby levels regardless.
Right.
But when you get to areas where the villains are based on your level, if I was there with a level 70, they would be level 68, maybe. So for me, that's so much higher. But for that person, like they might be able to fight them. But even still, like I'm fighting level 28s at level 40, and I'm shooting them with my shotgun like 12 times, it's a bad shotgun. Or I'm smacking them with my sword 5 times, and it's kind of boring and it takes too long. I just want to be able to hit them and then move on if I'm almost twice their level.
Right.
Yeah, some of that is not
and this
tuned well,
right.
I think, for like feeling like you're progressing and becoming powerful. I don't
right.
think.
And maybe I need to like do something with my perks to increase the damage. I don't know. Like there's probably all kinds of shit I could do to make it easier on myself. But like the Scorch Beasts are level 50. I'm level 40. I wasn't doing fuck all to them when I was actually trying to shoot them. So, obviously, like last time we talked about it, I definitely need to make some friends or team up with some randos and like actually engage as a team, because I probably would have had a better time fighting off those Scorch Beasts, maybe. I don't know.
That's what you gotta do. Just find somebody and have everybody else do the work. That's what I used to do in PSO. I'd be like, oh yeah, good jobs, guys. We did. I'll like hit an enemy once or twice and run away and let everybody else kill him.
Yeah, I guess I gotta try that. Right now, we're taking a break. Because
okay.
I don't want to get mad again. I have to move my camp. Like I'm tired of the Cranberry Bog. It's scary and bad. So gonna find somewhere else to go, I guess.
All right.
But other than that, like Craig, I also bought some fun games on the eShop that were on sale. So Puzzle Bobble came to the eShop. Have you played Puzzle Bobble, Seth?
I've played versions of Puzzle Bobble, yes.
Okay. Well,
I know what it's all about.
Puzzle Bobble is on the eShop for like $7, and that shit is the most fun. I don't know how many hours I've played it, but it's been a couple. I made my sisters play with me when my family came over for holiday time. And my little sister actually, like, schooled me. So that was fun. Or at least she did for a little bit. Yeah, for a little bit. I had been drinking and she had not. And then I, like, sort of figured out how to,
lost all your faculty.
Yeah, I was, like, trying to look at the screen, but also, like, not paying very much attention. So it got better. And actually, the same night I taught my younger sister Laura how to play Katamari as well, and so she was like, "Oh my god, this is so much fun! The controls are bullshit," and I was like, "Don't even worry about the controls, just like roll around and stuff." And so that was fun, and still playing that, obviously. I got this. It's not a video game, but am I allowed to talk about a non-video game? It's sort of a video. It's like a interactive game.
What is it?
So it's called Journal 29, and it's a book that you can purchase online, or I think you can purchase a PDF if you don't want to get the physical copy. I have the physical one, so I can like scribble all over it. But it's a bunch of puzzles, and so you solve the format is basically the left-hand page has a QR code or the web address where you put in what you think your answer is to the puzzle, and the right-hand side is the puzzle itself. And it's like one of the ones that I solved was just coordinates, and so you actually had to go and Google the coordinates and then enter whatever the coordinates were for. This was like the third puzzle, so it's not supposed to be super hard yet.
Right.
And you put it into the little website, and then it gives you a keyword that you write on the left-hand page, because that will help you solve another puzzle later. So one of the puzzles I was solving before the podcast, it was like key 5 times key 6 times lead. And key 5 had been, I think, iron. And then key 6 had been... No, key 6 was iron. Key 5 was something else. I can't fucking remember. But
how do you times iron? I don't understand.
So actually you don't. You go to the periodic table of elements and take the atomic number. And so I was like, oh, okay, these are all elements. I have to go to the periodic table. I have to take the numbers, multiply them. And then the total of that is the answer to the puzzle. You put that in, and then it'll give you a keyword. And so it's pretty fun. I'm really enjoying it.
I'm looking.
There's a story component.
I'm looking up pictures. I'm looking up like pictures
No,
of
that's
this.
Okay.
And this looks fucking awesome, and this looks like
It's
it would be
really
like a really
fun.
good present.
Yeah, it was only like $15 on Amazon, and it is really cool. And the good news is that if you get stuck, there's actually a whole forum of people and that provide hints, or you can actually like get the answer if you really can't figure it out. So that, and they tag everything. They hide all of the stuff behind, whatever you have to click it to actually see the text. So that way you don't have it ruined for you. So that's pretty neat. I'm really enjoying that. I feel very smart, and it sort of makes me feel like I feel when I play Professor Layton games. So
I'm gonna get this for my girlfriend.
You should. And then you should get it, and you could both do it together or separately and have like a competition.
Yeah, no, that's yeah.
So I won't tell you any of the answers to any of the other puzzles then.
It's fine if you do. I'll just have a leg up on this whole
There you go. So that's been a fun, like I picked it up for a little bit and then set it down because I was doing the coordinates thing, but I kept putting the wrong stuff in because I didn't think it was as specific as it actually wanted to be. And then today I was like, there must be hints somewhere because I was doing math. I was like, it's the third puzzle. It can't be this hard. Yeah, I'd overthought it. And then the last thing that I've been playing is Gris or Grease or Grice or whatever, Gris. I don't know how to pronounce it.
I thought it was Gree, like
Gree?
French.
Oh, that makes sense.
Right?
Gree.
I'm not 100% sure myself. That was just my assumption.
Okay, well, Gree it is.
I think that's French for gray, right? I'm not.
Oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
That would
too.
make sense too. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're so smart.
If
Seth.
it were, I have no idea if is gris French for gray.
I think so.
Let's go to translate.google.com.
Okay, you do that, and I'm going to talk about how I fucking love this game.
Okay. Yeah, gris is French for gray.
Excellent. So that makes a lot of sense. This game is like, did you get it yet, Seth?
No, it's very pretty looking, and I was thinking of getting it.
You should, because the soundtrack is beautiful. I generally don't play anything with noise on. And Craig's like, you can turn the volume on. I'm like, but there's other things happening. I don't want to add to the noise.
Yeah, well, I think
this is worth it.
I think music is a part of a game. It's part of the experience.
It is. The soundscape for this game is beautiful. The actual music-ish parts are beautiful. The art is beautiful. There were points when I was playing it earlier today where I was looking at the screen, I got choked up, even though fucking nothing, there's no text at all. There's nothing to explain what's happening, in any sort of she's sad because X, Y, and Z. It's more like you just think about the game knowing the bare bones part, which is this girl lost something and you're going on this journey to recover from it. And so I think the open-endedness allows you to sort of superimpose whatever you're feeling. So
I like that. That's nice.
Yeah. Especially for people I wouldn't say I have seasonal affective disorder or anything, but I've certainly been a bit sad lately, just like everybody else. Mm-hmm. And so this, playing this game has been oh man, you're right, game. It does get better. It'll be okay. It's gonna be spring. The color will come back. But it's I don't know, man. It's very comforting. You don't die. There's no penalty for making a mistake because the game it doesn't guide you in any way, but it doesn't provide you opportunities to fail. So once you become familiar with more or less immediately, I knew that I would come back to wherever I was going to be. So if I started in this area, I was going to come back here eventually. I didn't need to worry about everything. I could just keep going on the path that made the most sense at the time. And that's what ended up happening because you regain colors as you play the game. You start out with gray, which makes sense now. And then you regain colors, and as you regain colors, there are more elements within this space that show up. And so there's platforming elements that aren't available in the beginning, but because you got green, there's things that you can jump from, the tops of the trees populated. So now you can jump from the tops of the trees to get to other parts of the map. So
I'm into this. I love games where you take something like Ugly or Dead or and revive it and make it beautiful again and stuff like that. That's one of my little pleasure nodes that just makes me happy in games.
Well, you will definitely love this because that's exactly what this game is about.
All right, I'm in. And
it's got fun puzzles, and some of the platforming is a little challenging, but none of it's so hard that you, more than a couple of tries, it's not going to take you 5-10 minutes to figure out what you need to do. It's pretty intuitive. Mm-hmm. There were definitely parts when I figured something out that I was like, oh, I'm so smart. But really, eventually I would have figured it out. But they give you all the tools to sort of navigate the world in a very natural kind of way, I guess. But it's really good. I don't know how many hours I played, 3.5 maybe?
3 or 4.
3 or 4, because I brought my Switch and sat in the urgent care waiting room. And I sat, and played it earlier before urgent care. But yeah, it's super good. It's seriously everything's beautiful, and it sounds beautiful, and it looks beautiful. And I have feelings, even though no one's told me why I'm feeling this way. So it's pretty great.
It's evocative, like Craig's snow painting.
Yes, that's true. It is evocative, like Craig's snow painting.
Just to touch on the playing the Switch in the urgent care.
Uh-huh.
I don't think about it all that much because I never use my Switch Portable, but I think it's got something good going for it. My nephew, who's never even owned a Nintendo system, he has his first job working at a little convenience store or whatever. He's 16.
Mm-hmm.
And he bought himself a Switch specifically for Smash Bros. He got himself the Smash Bros. Switch or whatever. And he said, him and his friends at school, 3 of them each brought a Switch, and then with the Joy-Cons that you could detach, he said they were playing six-player Smash at school during lunch and stuff. And I was like, oh, that's
so cool.
Right?
I would have loved that, back in my day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no.
That's so neat.
Game Boys and Game Link cables and stuff, and it's
and finding somebody who had a Game Boy.
Yeah, exactly. Do you have a Mew? Can I clone a Mew off you? But no, yeah, no. I'm that actually made me happy and a little envious. I was like, man, that would have been so fucking cool to have when I was in high school.
Totally.
So yeah, no, that's good job, Nintendo.
Good, yeah, no, they made a real good console. /handheld.
/handheld.
Yes. But that's, to wrap up, I know I talked a long time. That's what I've been playing.
No, it's just because you hang out with Craig a lot.
And usually it's me who talks a lot, so that's fine.
You could talk more.
Me? Are you talking about me?
Anybody, either of you. I'm self-conscious now.
No,
it's fine.
Nobody cares.
The literal point of a podcast is to talk in front of people.
But I don't want people to be halfway through it and be like, oh, it's so long and boring, I'm over it.
Nah,
I mean, if anything, they're like, Seth, you fucking played Persona rhythm games. What is that? You can't talk about that.
Sure you can.
There's not a lot to talk about in those games, though. So
that's okay.
I feel guilty sometimes, playing a game that I know that there's not a lot to talk about on the podcast. Specifically, I went out of my way to play Katamari yesterday just so I had something that had substance to it. Instead of you push buttons with the rhythm to the rhythm, and
Well, you shouldn't play video games only so that you have something to talk about on the podcast.
Oh, I need to, though, because I'm doing a podcast.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but doesn't that suck some of the fun out of it?
I would have been so happy just binging on Persona games all week long, the Persona rhythm games, because I get addicted to rhythm games like nobody's business.
Well, I think that that's a perfectly wonderful thing to do and enjoy.
Which it is, if I'm not having to do a podcast where I then talk about video games.
Okay, this is all very affirming. I think we should get to news.
Okay. We have news?
Oh, no, we don't have news. We don't have news.
We don't have news.
There's no news. We should get to the mailbag.
There's
no news.
Mailbag.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Nothing really happened in the past 2 weeks.
No.
No.
I don't
No.
know.
Yeah, let's do mailbag.
Okay.
Mailbag. Jinx says, are there any games you tend to replay around the holidays? Like games that you get in for the mood for the holidays, holiday mood games, where you were like, it's the holidays, I want to play a game.
That might have been true at one point in my life, like maybe a few years back, maybe 10 years back, like in my 20s. Now I think just like thinking about those games is nostalgic enough. I don't need to actually like fire it up. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like we like the Donkey Kong Country snow levels, like Northern Hemispheres, like that's. I would love just replaying like that level, like around Christmas time, say my mid-20s, but now my mid-30s, I can just lean back in my recliner with my corncob pipe and just, silently think to myself, that's some good video gaming. It's true though. I don't need to actually play it. I just think about it.
Megan, any holiday games you like to play?
No. Sorry. I mean, I have the same sort of like love for the snow levels for Donkey Kong and like the song, and for me that's very nostalgic because I got it probably around Christmas. I don't even know. It's hard to remember. I was little, but so like that for me is like, ooh, it's holiday time. But otherwise, like most of the video games I got at Christmas. So, and I'm not going to replay Mario 64. So,
yeah, no, I don't really have anything either. I don't think I ever have. I don't know. It's nothing. Sorry, Jinx.
Sorry.
They go on to say that also, what's the best game you got for Christmas or Kwanzaa for Seth as a kid? I don't know why I'm Kwanzaa, but whatever. So, best Christmas game gift?
Oh, is this like ever? Is that like...
Yeah, yep. Ever.
Oh, I thought it was for 2018.
Well, it says as a kid.
Oh, as a kid. Okay. I can't hear well, I guess.
I think it's like, I mean, as a kid and coming from a family that didn't have like a ton of money, like if we got a new game, we often got it at Christmas. Not always, but... for the most part. And so like, did we get Super Mario World at Christmas? Yep. Did we get Mario 64 at Christmas? Yep. Did I get Perfect Dark at Christmas? Yep, sure did. So, take your pick. I for me personally, it's hard to point to one and say like, yeah, this is the best one, but it kind of comes back to, I think, sort of what you were saying, like, you can get nostalgic for almost any game at Christmas time because as a kid, you got all kinds of games. I got nostalgic for like Bomberman 64 for Christmas. I never even played a Bomberman game before that, but holy shit, did I want that game? And I got it for Christmas, and it makes me think of Christmas. But the best one, I don't know. That's hard to say. A lot of good games.
Seth?
Okay. All right. So when I was very young, like 6 and under, family was like Jehovah's Witness, or at least my mom. I don't even know where my dad was. My dad's just never been very religious. So we never did Christmas. And then after that, we still like never did Christmas for a very, very long time. My mom eventually like met a new dude, and then they got married. And I think she wanted to seem normal. And also her parents came and visited for like the first time in a very long time. So I think I had my first Christmas when I was 14-ish. It was 1996. How old was I? Whatever, it doesn't matter. I was 12. So I really had my first Christmas when I was 12, and I got a Nintendo 64, and so that was super cool.
Yeah.
So that's probably my the best Christmas video game related thing. So N64 and Super Mario 64.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
The strongest memory I have was getting a Scooby-Doo Super Nintendo game, and I tried to pull some bullshit where I was like, oh, well, I'll just go like make sure it works or whatever on the Super Nintendo, and like try to take, because it was a gift for like my sisters and I, not just for me, and so I like wanted to spirit it away so I could play it all by myself before anybody else got to, and my mom was like, what are you talking about? And so I basically made my sisters sit in the same room with me so I could play it. And I still remember one of the passwords I made, like when the game starts up, you actually create 4 different passwords that will allow you to like skip 2 different, like there's only 4 levels on this game, because it's 4 mysteries. And I didn't because I never read anything. Craig can attest to this as a 30-year-old. Like, I don't read the whole instructions. I don't read, like, the warning label. I just sort of skim it and go, good enough. And so as a child...
They should put those labels as fan fiction.
Probably.
Right. She's still alive, so... You know,
I've managed this far. But I didn't actually read what I was putting characters in for, so I put stuff in that was ridiculous. So like the first one was TDBKSRQ, because I figured like that's whatever, I just wanted to hit stuff so I could get on with like the actual game. I was too impatient. So yeah, when we find it, like, so we couldn't skip the levels until we beat the levels, so that it would give you the password that we then wrote down in like green crayon on a piece of paper. But I have very fond memories of like that game.
How old are you? Like 3?
I don't know, like 7, not 8. Okay. I honestly don't. I maybe we were in Groton, so maybe I was older. I don't really know. I'd have to ask my mom. She would remember.
All right, let's get your mom on the podcast. Let's phone a friend.
She's real good at Barbie. She could talk about that. So yeah, the Barbie video game. Yeah. Yes. So I guess like for me that was like the best Christmas video game gift, because that's the one I have like a very strong memory about.
I think that Barbie game is the most use our Retron is.
Oh, for sure.
Your mom played Barbie on that thing.
Yeah. It's fun. It's a fun game,
yeah,
especially as like a group of adults, because we're not so good with the memory anymore.
It's just 2 levels over and over again. It's like 3 levels over and over again.
There's like 3 different mini games. There's 4 different like levels, because there's different locations.
Okay. Right.
And different outfits.
Right, yeah, different outfits. That's true. Yeah, that changes everything.
It does.
All right, what else we got, Seth?
I also want to tell a story of like the time I felt worse at Christmas too, getting video games. I think it was 2 years later, maybe 3. My mom asked me to like make a list of N64 games I wanted, and should buy me like 1 or 2 off the list. She just wanted to know what I had in case like, you know, whatever was available. So I made a list of probably like 8 games or something, and then she bought every single fucking one on the list.
I think you've told this story.
Yes, I have, probably. And I felt like so guilty and bad because I knew like it wasn't a ton of money, and I think it was mostly my stepdad's money anyway. And we had never like had enough money where I could get anything near that. And so instead of like being happy, I just felt like shit.
Oh.
So that's that ruined Christmas for me again.
Oh. Sorry, Seth.
It's fine.
Do you still have those games?
Yeah, I still have them all.
Nice. Well, at least there's that.
Yeah, I guess. I guess so. If you could add... so this is Sebastian. If you could add a Christmas theme level for any game, which game would you choose? Also, do you guys get the norovirus? I think Sebastian has the norovirus. Let's not, like, touch Sebastian at all, but adding a Christmas theme level to a game. Any takers?
Oh, I didn't know what norovirus was.
You get it from poop, I think.
Common cause of gastroenteritis.
Pass by poop.
Oh man, I haven't made it
feel,
there yet.
I feel like we're focusing on the wrong part of this question.
Oh, sorry, I just didn't know what norovirus was, so I was like, somebody will talk. I'm going to find out what this is first, so I can answer that part of the question.
All right, I'm gonna go. I feel like adding a Christmas theme level to like a racing game would be really cool. But out of left field, like an F-Zero GX course that was like snow and Christmas trees and stuff would be like really cool.
That does sound fun.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Good answer, Seth.
Thank you. This isn't Family Feud, but thank you.
I don't, you like. Does like Zelda count? Like, could you do that in Zelda? Could you?
Yeah, like a Christmas dungeon or something.
Right, but it would it would be something Hyrulean, like the Festival of Light, or well, no, that's Festival of Light is Hanukkah, right?
I think so.
Yeah, so it wouldn't be called that. But you know what I'm saying, right? Like,
yeah, no,
Yeah.
I got you.
Twinkly lights and ribbons and stuff.
Are you thinking like Breath of the Wild Zelda or
Sure,
older?
almost like a live event.
Oh, that would be fun.
PSO used to do those back.
Right. Well, that was the first time I ever saw a live event. That blew my mind. I think it was Valentine's Day, and there was giant holographic hearts spinning on the spaceship or space station. Was it a ship or a station?
It was a spaceship so large that it was a station.
I see. And you log on and you enter, and there's just giant hearts spinning, and I'm like, what the fuck? And I thought it was the coolest thing that the game could have something live like that. I thought that was so great. And I think ever since then, I've just always appreciated live events. Modern games can be hit or miss with those because like live stuff tends to mean like microtransactions and other bullshit. So it can be hit or miss, but I still appreciate dynamic stuff like that. And is Zelda the best example of? I mean, is that the best situation where I want like live events? Like, not really, but like, I mean, I wouldn't want like Christmas shit, all the time in Zelda. But like, if I logged into Breath of the Wild and like Kakariko Village or whatever is decked out in like Christmassy stuff, and there's more snow across Hyrule, like that could be.
That'd be fun.
I mean, that's just the first thing that came to my head, I guess.
And
I don't
festive.
know.
Yeah. And if they added like a Christmas quest or two.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, no, that'd be sweet.
That would be sweet.
I'm switching my answer to that.
Okay. Yeah, me too. I'm stealing Craig's answer.
I thought it was a bad answer, so it's funny.
No, it's a really good answer.
My only thought is like, oh, if they added like fun holiday themed mini games to Mario Party, because everything that I could think of probably already has like some sort of winter level or feature, but you can make gingerbread houses or have to build snowmen or chase Santa or whatever the fuck.
Chase Santa.
Get him!
Get him!
Presents.
Right, like that would be fun. I would want to play like Mario Party on the Switch with their special holiday DLC of mini games.
It sure would be great if Super Mario had any sort of like add-on content.
Yeah.
Because
I really like this. I like the Saints Row Christmas add-on, Saints Row 4. How the Saints Save Christmas. I think that's the best like Christmas winter themed like holiday DLC maybe ever. That was really. You had to go to like the North Pole to like stop like an evil robotic Santa Claus. And then
they stole that from Futurama.
Well, probably, yeah. There's a lot of like references to like Christmas movies. Like you get a BB gun and you end up shooting your eye out, so like half the screen is black.
Perfect.
And then at the end, you beat the shit out of like evil Santa Claus, and then you have to deliver presents. So you're flying this sleigh through the sky, like over Steelport. Over the standard map, and then you're shooting presents into the good little boys and girls' homes, and you're dumping coal into the bad kids' homes, and it's just really good. It's really funny. It's done earnestly, and it was done well. It had some some variety, some good concepts. It's a good DLC.
Nice.
That sounds like I just want to play that, but I don't want to play any of the other games.
Well, you can do
play
that.
that?
Yeah, it's standalone. Yeah, you can do that. Yeah. So like if you get like the Saints Row, whatever the version is for PS4, like I got it for $7. It goes on sale a couple times a year. I got it for $7. It came with the game and all its DLC, including the expansion Gat Out of Hell for $7. And yeah, you can just play that. It's just in the menu.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And you get like your dubstep gun plays like holiday themes. So you can shoot out holiday themed dubstep.
Oh man, that sounds like so many things that I would enjoy.
It's really good.
Holidays aren't over yet, I guess.
Well, you can play it if you want.
Not Christmas anymore. Dunn says, "Where's Chris?" That is Chris.
Yeah, Chris asked where he is.
He was turned into one of the animatronic boys in the It's a Small World ride.
Oh,
so
no.
He's just stuck there singing the same 5 words over and over again.
And now that he's found his new home, we will miss him.
We'll miss him. If he ever decides to break free of those bonds, he could come and join us here again.
Heck yeah.
We're editing that out. That was just awkward. Ilya says, "What did you get for Christmas?"
I got what is called by the collecting community an AGB 101. Game Boys by Game Boy collectors are referred to by like their like model number. So like the original Game Boy is like a DMG. So if you hear someone referring to a Game Boy as a DMG, it's the original like brick Game Boy. So the original Game Boy Advance, the horizontal one, is an AGB 001, I think is the model number. And then you have the Game Boy Advance SP, which is a clamshell. And there's 2 models of that. There's the first one, which is front lit, and that's AGS 100. And then the second one, which I don't think it has an actual product name. I think people colloquially refer to it as Game Boy Advance SP Plus. But that's the one with the actual backlight, which is the best looking Game Boy Advance screen. And that's an AGS 101. And so what is commonly done is that AGS 101 screen is transplanted into an AGB 001. So now you have that original model Game Boy Advance, that horizontal Game Boy Advance with a nice crisp backlit screen. So I got one of those for Christmas, and it's a custom shell too. It's not a retail shell. I don't know who has the injection molds for these things, but it's a translucent blue. It's a lot like the N64 Fantastic Ice Blue with a backlit screen, and it is awesome. It's fantastic. The only downside is that it chews through batteries. It's like 2 or 3 hours. They're done.
I bought one of these off eBay once, like the modded original GBA with the backlight screen. And I got it for fairly cheap. And the motherfucker shipped it to me in just like a padded envelope.
No!
He just threw the Game Boy into a padded envelope, and that was it.
Oh,
and I got it, and I think he had done the mod himself. The screen was tilted inside. Like it wasn't level, and the either the R or L button was broken, just completely, just didn't do anything, and I was just very upset with that whole thing.
Mine actually came in a Japanese Game Boy Advance box.
Nice.
Yeah, they actually put it in a box. The Game Boy Advance, the original Game Boy Advance box for the Japanese Game Boy Advance is boring as hell. It's very plain. Mine had like a sticky A button when I first got it. I was very disappointed. I was like, oh no, I got to return it. I got to go through this whole thing. But after mashing on it a bunch of times, it loosened up. It's fine now. It's really just the battery life. It's not just that model Game Boy is not designed to handle that screen.
Yeah, it was definitely going through batteries.
You can people will mod the shit out of these things, and you can get them with rechargeable batteries. That drives the price up, of course, but
I used to have a adapter. It was an official Nintendo one, I think, where you could plug it into the wall and just play it plugged into the wall at all times.
Yeah. I've never had one of those for a Game Boy, for my original Game Boy Advance, so I don't have that. But, I mean, we have rechargeable batteries. It's not like a huge deal. You just got to remember to, like, save your game and just be cautious when the battery might be dying.
The rechargeable batteries, at least when I was using them in my GBA, like, it just always makes the light red, like it's always, like, going to die. Like, even though it works fine for hours, it just always red light.
No, mine was definitely green, but it's a great way to play Game Boy. I mean, Game Boy Advance. I mean, I don't know what the ideal way is, but I think this is the closest thing. It's just nice and compact, and there's no distractions, and it's horizontal, which, gives you more hand gripping room. I like it a lot. I always kind of wanted like a backlit Game Boy Color too, which I don't know why. This seems like a waste, but well, the problem is also those are really expensive because the process is the same. It's a screen lifted out of an AGS 101 and put into a Game Boy Color. The only difference is that the original Game Boy screens, Game Boy, Game Boy Pocket, Game Boy Color, they're square. And Game Boy Advance is rectangular. So in order to get that screen in there, some actual like surgery has to be done on the chassis. And not a lot of people do that. So it's a tougher mod to do. But as a Game Boy Color fan, I just thought it would be cool, but it's expensive. It's even more frivolous than a backlit, AGB. So
right.
But I think I like it a lot. I think it's really cool. I got a couple of other things. I got. Are you familiar with the Magical Quest starring Mickey Mouse, Seth?
Yeah. Of course.
So that was originally a Super Nintendo game by Capcom, and I got the Game Boy Advance re-release where you can also play as Minnie. It's starring Mickey and Minnie. And I don't think it's as remembered as other Capcom Disney games, but I think it's pretty good. I like it. It has some unique like grabbing and throwing mechanics and like these costume-based power-ups, kind of like Wario, but they're unique to like their levels. Like it's not like you don't get to pick and choose. There's like firefighter, wizard, lumberjack. Like you need these power-ups to progress. So it's not like you can pick and choose them, but it's just kind of neat playing as like different costumes.
It's like a good theme changing for levels, like just to switch them up a little. Right,
exactly. And then
switch up the gameplay.
I got a couple of oddities for my 3DS collection. I got this game called Bar Hunter, which I think is by Bandai, and it comes in a box. And the only thing in the box is a bunch of hardware that you clamp onto your 3DS. This is Japanese. It's Japanese oddity. It's not released here. And what you can do is you can scan. You download the game. There's a voucher in there. You download the game from the eShop, and you can scan barcodes to trigger monsters, kind of like Monster Rancher or something, where you put CDs in your PlayStation 1 to get monsters. And then you capture them by reeling them in. All the stuff that you bolt onto the 3DS has like a reel on it, and so you actually fish these monsters in. So that's really strange, and I thought a good addition to the collection. And then I also got Pokemon Tretta Lab, which is in Japan. There are quite a few arcade games that get recurring revenue by using actual physical doodads, like near field connectivity. So there might be like little figurines or trading cards, or in the case of Pokemon Tretta, they're like little chips. They're like little discs, and they basically work like Amiibo. Like the arcade machine can recognize what it is. And in some cases, like the placement and the movement of these things, you actually have like a playing field. You move around on them. Pokemon Tretta Lab basically turns your 3DS into like a little arcade cabinet, and it's not Pokemon. It's not the arcade game. It's not Pokemon Tretta at home, because then that would eat into the profits of Pokemon Tretta. It's just another way to use those discs at home. So again, you download the game. It doesn't come with a physical game. You download it. You bolt on all this plastic shit, and then you can put in these discs, and it'll tell you about the stats. And you can like put in two discs at the same time, and it'll like auto battle those two Pokemon and tell you who the winner is. And you can like log your collection. So it's like a bunch of like administrative stuff for your Pokemon Tretta discs.
It's like Pokemon Football Manager.
Yes, yeah. Yes, exactly.
That sounds like so much fun.
It was $23 shipped brand new from Japan. Like, they're just trying to get these things the fuck out the door, and that's fine. I'll snap. Bar Hunter was like 30. You know, that's fine. I'll buy them.
Did you have the God, I can't even remember who made it because I'm bad. There's who made Gunstar Heroes and
Treasure
Punishment. Treasure. Do you get the Treasure bolt-on 3DS game that they made where you bolt a bunch of shit onto your 3DS?
Is that Geist Crusher?
I can't remember the name of it. I just remember Treasure making. Let me see.
Yeah, I'll go grab it real quick. Megan, talk so it doesn't think I'm gone.
Okay. Seth, what'd you get for Christmas?
Every year, my roommate gets me a Amazon gift card, and I get him absolutely nothing.
Okay.
And that's all that I got. Is that $25 gift card?
Oh, Seth.
What? I don't do Christmas.
You don't do Christmas?
I don't care about it really.
But commercialism and capitalism.
No, it's just never been a thing. I don't. I guess maybe when you're not raised with it, it's not like a big deal. Yeah, no. So I don't really care about it. What'd you get though?
Craig's back. So.
Oh yeah, real quick. Geist Crusher is not Treasure. It looks like it could be a Treasure game, but it's actually Capcom. And that bolts on like a magnifying lens to the camera. It bolts on a bunch of plastic shit. And then you can buy like these little plastic gems that I think Bandai produced. And then you can clip them in.
Wait. I'm on Wikipedia. Developed by Treasure, published by Capcom.
Oh, that's weird. Like their name is not anywhere on the packaging. Okay. Yeah, then I have Geist Crusher, yeah.
Okay.
They have like little tiny QR codes. And I don't know why they can't be regular size, but you buy like these little plastic gems and you clip them into the camera and the magnifying lens will read will magnify the QR code and it'll bring stuff into your game.
That's silly. So you have at least 3 games where you clamp a bunch of shit to your 3DS.
Yeah, well, personally, I think that stuff is like really interesting. It's not as interesting as like the DS because the original DS had a bunch of bananas peripherals. There's a keyboard that you could.
That one. I got the Pokemon typing.
There's that. There's Pokemon typing. I have that as well. But I was thinking more like a piano. Like there's a game called like Easy Piano that plugs into the GBA slot and it'll teach you how to play piano. There's like a mouse, like a laser mouse, an optical mouse, like a Nintendo published game, Mad Kid Slide Adventure, and you actually slide it around on a tabletop to maneuver your character on the screen. Like there's a motion controller, like there's like a Tony Hawk motion game, and you plug in like an accelerometer into the GBA slot. Like there's just all kinds of crazy shit on the DS. Like you wouldn't believe
the Guitar Hero shit.
There's a Guitar Hero stuff.
I tried that once.
There are card scanners. I have every single one. I hunted down every single. I have the RAM cartridge for the browser.
Wappy Dog.
I have Wappy Dog. I have the Rumble pack that came with Pokemon the Pokemon Pinball, Metroid Pinball.
Yeah.
I got them all. There's just to me, I think that's really interesting. Even if they're useless, I just think that those weird peripherals are just very interesting for machines like the DS and the 3DS.
I'm wondering when we're going to get to that point with the Switch, because you think it would be really easy with those Joy-Con slots on the side.
Well, that's the Labo, isn't it?
Well, the Labo, you're putting like the whole Switch in there. But I feel like there's like a simpler solution where you could just make a peripheral that you stick in a box that can slide right onto the sides of the Switch, you know? Just whatever you want, like a fishing rod or anything.
Yeah, I wonder if Nintendo guards that, because like stuff like Geist Crusher and Bar Hunter, I mean, that's just those things just kind of clip on. They're not really like they're not. I don't know. I feel like there's got to be some sort of like proprietary technology with things that go on the Joy-Con slots, right? Like you probably have to be like a licensed manufacturer, like Hori is, or something.
With the DS, they had a lot of stuff that plugged into the GBA slot, right?
Yeah, but that's true. But that's not proprietary. I mean, that's just a read write for like Game Boy Advance. I mean, that's not. But like, for instance, like I guess I'm thinking along the lines of like wireless controllers. Like I don't think there are any third party wireless controllers for any of the current consoles because those are proprietary formats. So I guess I was just thinking along those lines.
I thought stuff like the 8-bit do SNES Bluetooth controller or whatever works with the Switch.
I'm not sure about that.
I'm looking this up.
But I mean, maybe I guess I'm just maybe I'm talking out my ass, but I could have sworn like there just really isn't any third party wireless controllers, and I don't know how those Joy-Cons work. I don't know if you need to be licensed or whether they even give out the protocols for how those things work. I don't know. I know Hori has the D-pad Joy-Con.
Right.
But wasn't there like some weird stuff about that? How like you can't use it detached and
yeah.
Right, and that's probably because like the wireless protocol, they're not allowed to have that.
I can't look this up right now, but I'm pretty sure there's like but they're like Bluetooth. They might just plug into a USB adapter for all I know, and work that way.
Yeah, that might be what it is, right? Because yeah, that makes sense.
Have a dongle. I have no idea.
Dongle.
Good point. But I mean, like, I feel like with some sort of like a clamp attachments or whatever that could just work right. I feel like Level 5 or something would come out with something like that Nintendo would okay.
That wouldn't surprise me. And they probably have licensed manufacturers. Like some of like this clip-on shit from for like the 3DS is produced like by Bandai. Like Bar Hunters, Bandai, the plastic shit on Geist Crushers, Bandai. So like they probably have partners that can produce that stuff.
Right. I think it'll come. Some sort of gimmicky stuff.
That'll be fun.
It would be fun. That'll be down the line in its later years when it needs gimmicks to start selling again or something.
When it's not still crushing it 2 years later.
Yeah. It's
still crushing it, right? That's why I figured.
It's been doing crazy well. I think like Smash Bros is already over 2 million in just Japan now.
Wow.
So I don't even know what that is worldwide.
I think it's like over 5 million worldwide.
Yeah, so it's crushing shit.
Way to go, Nintendo.
I think that's all the Twitter. That's all the Twitter questions.
Cool.
Mailbag's done. Yep.
Good job, Mailbag.
Thanks, listeners.
Thanks, listeners.
I will post stuff up sometime the week of recording. Just look for it. Twitter at TV. No, not TV unless I would say that. Ludowave Radio. We're Ludowave Radio.
Yes, we are.
Yep. If you want to get in on the mailbag, at Ludowave Radio on Twitter.
That's it.
And that's it. Do we have anything else this episode?
No.
All right.
We said it was going to be short. It's so long.
It's not short. I know. I'm so tired. I didn't sleep last night. I want to thank everyone for listening. You can find us on SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/Ludowave Radio, where you can subscribe, you can download, you can stream, whatever you find convenient. You can also find us on your favorite podcast platform, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher. Please review us on those platforms, particularly your Apple Podcasts. It's very helpful. I am begging you. Let's see. You can find us on Twitter and Facebook, as we just mentioned, at Ludowave Radio on both. Our theme song is composed exclusively for us by Morning Moon and Mercury. You can find more of his stuff at morningmoonandmercury.bandcamp.com. You can name your own price for his music, and you should. You can find me, Craig. I'm on Twitter and Instagram at TV and Lust on both. Seth, where can people find you?
I'm on Twitter at Seth Gastelum. And Megan?
You can find me on Instagram at Desperately Seeking Salsa. I found my Twitter, but I forgot to write down what it is, so maybe next time.
And we're out.
Bye.